We're live here at the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
That would make me Terrible Troy.
And we are joined by the returning Lianne O'Shea here. Hello.
Hey.
I almost said flash dance, but
I mean, you can.
yeah, why not? It's a cool name.
Call me Flash.
Yeah. Super psyched to be back. And
yeah,
I brought
for the
with
first
me
time Aviv Rubinstien.
Hello, it is I, awful Aviv Rubinstien.
I like that. I like that with your own alliteration name here. It's very fitting.
Yeah, I gotta come up with one. L's hard.
Lethal.
Lethal. That's good.
Yeah,
that's
good. Perfect. I like
No spoilers.
Yeah. So star Lianne and writer director of Lizzie Lazarus which is filming extremely that's not right. Exclusively on Screambox. And Extreme, why not?
Yeah, it could be Extreme as well.
It's extremely and exclusively on Screenbox, but exclusively anywhere is kind of weird because like you can get Screenbox through YouTube and Roku and
Amazon
and Apple. So like you can kind of get it everywhere, but it all kind of funnels in to Screenbox, who is awesome.
Yeah. They told me to say exclusively, so I threw that in there.
And basically it means you can get it. So you don't fret. You can get it.
Yeah, you can get it.
You can go watch the movie.
Yeah. So after the interview, we'll try not to spoil too much, and you can go and watch it. Or if you've seen it, or wait, go watch it and then come back and watch the interview. Either way, do both.
We can do like a spoilers section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for people not aware yet, could you give them an idea of what Lizzie Lazarus is about?
Sure.
Either one.
Yeah, I'll let Aviv take that one.
You. Lizzie Lazarus is a feature film that stars Lianne O'Shea and our good friend Omar Mascati. And it is about two people carrying the corpse of a loved one through the woods. It's the summer solstice. It's 1990. And they think that if they bury this person's body in a mythical zone at the exact moment of the summer solstice, she will come back to life. And it's basically like a meditation on guilt and loss and all this kind of other freaky, witchy folk horror, urban legends, lots of like urban legends and conspiracy theories and stuff.
Yeah, and it's definitely unique. Like I'd never saw a setup like this before.
Thanks.
Oh, thanks.
It came out of like necessity. We were, like everybody in 2020, like really kind of bouncing off the walls and wanting to make a creative project, but we didn't want to make a COVID movie that like felt like a COVID movie. And so we set it in the past, and we kind of turned our COVID restrictions into storytelling devices, and hopefully that way so it doesn't like brand this thing on the side of like this was filmed in 2020.
Yeah. And it was like, wait, okay, we have to be outside. Why would two people need to be 6 feet apart the whole movie?
You know what?
They're carrying a dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only way that I've ever been able to make anything is by like making a list of all of my limitations first, and then figuring out like there's my puzzle pieces that don't fit together, and then figuring out like all of the storytelling devices I could use to make them fit together and not make them feel like limitations.
And I think that's good advice for anybody out there. So a lot of people think, I can't make a movie or whatever, and like you said, think what's around you, and then what you can use. Don't think, I'm going to go make a movie about a castle or something.
Right, totally. Unless you own
a castle or something.
If you have a castle, then sure, work with it.
And fire it up. Use a castle.
Everyone has like a weird thing that no one else has. And so like that's the automatic production value for your picture, is like the thing that you've already taken for granted and written off as like, oh, this isn't a good idea. I only live in a castle. My uncle only owns a house. Like,
yeah,
I can't make a movie about a shack now. It's impossible.
Nobody's gonna buy it.
Yeah.
You mentioned Yeah, you mentioned a lot of things there, folk horror and legends and stuff. Is there any inspirations to like the specific like mythology in the movie?
Yes.
Totally. Do you want to talk about?
So I will say, as least spoilery as I can. There is one thing that inspired when the movie is set and where the movie is set. And we found, I think it was just one news article that mentioned a death, possible homicide, disappearance, possible homicide in 1990 around the summer solstice somewhere outside of Seattle. And all the main thing, like the article is like 2 lines long, and it says possible satanic correlations.
It's like we do not believe witchcraft is involved.
Yeah, it's like, well, do you?
Yeah.
Why did you bring it?
Yeah, what?
That seems rather specific to put in there. Like,
and that's the thing is like that was the central question of that we wanted to play with in the movie is like the question of we do not believe witchcraft is involved, and so these two characters are like trying to perform a kind of occult ritual, and we at least are trying to keep you guessing as to whether or not this thing is real the entire time.
Right? Is it going to work? And that's also something that they are wondering the entire time too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There a lot of the, I mean, all of the folk horror and urban legend references in the movie are real. From like Jimmy Carter having a UFO encounter to the cult that they are referencing in the movie, which is called the City of Mary, which is not so loosely adapted from a real cult called the City of David. And so we tried to keep it as grounded and as real as possible, almost like because that helps us. The dialogue and the premise is a little out there, and so the more reality we could bring in, the more kind of believable the whole picture was.
Yeah, a lot of real unsolved mysteries, and some we talked about that didn't even wind up making it into the final script, but that I think about like all the time. It's like, well,
and there are secret other creepy references that are visual only to other conspiracies and mysteries that we haven't revealed.
Oh, that's really fun. Has anyone picked up on any of those yet? I know maybe it's a little early, but
so a lot of I mean, no one has picked up on like the really hidden other conspiracies that we like visually mention but don't say out loud.
Now I'm starting to think like, did I miss them?
Well, you didn't miss them. You know what
I know what you mean. No spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You know what I mean. No spoilers. But a lot of people have picked up on like there are a bunch of biblical references. There are a bunch of like seemingly small contradictions in people's stories that could be character mistakes. That could be like a mistake on the screenwriter's part. I don't make mistakes. But like then if you look at them all from a distance, they spell out kind of a deeper answer. So people have picked up on that. I have a good friend named Jeff who's a singer-songwriter in Boston. Hello, Jeff. And he watched the movie last night and like gave me kind of the best review that I haven't stopped thinking about, and I can't really share it just yet, but we can talk about it when we get to spoiler territory. But I've been kind of like mulling over the way he read the movie. So yeah, some people are just like, this doesn't have enough blood. This doesn't have enough, bones and knives and stuff.
You're not going to please
some people
everybody.
Yeah, totally.
Right. And some people are really digging into like the creepiness of like basically the characters are like telling ghost stories to each other the entire while carrying an actual dead body.
Yeah. And, what you're saying earlier about keeping the realism, that's why I like that the two characters they play it very straight, and they're talking about necromancy and stuff, which I think it could become like silly or something, but the movie doesn't.
Yeah, there were definitely takes where it was silly, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
like we had fun. We shot 10 overnights in the woods. So, you know, there were definitely some
You got a little punchy.
punchy takes or some loopy options where it was like, okay, let's bring it back down.
and all credit to Lianne and to Omar, who have this really great dramatic background, but also they're both like extremely funny and great with comedic timing. And so it was like a real joy or a great opportunity to be able to like play with how funny things are in certain moments and keep like the movie's trying to escape from itself tonally in certain points. And so that was a really like great, they gave us everything we needed in the edit to explore all those options.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Then, when you're writing it, did you have Lianne and Omar in mind for the characters?
So Lianne, should we come out?
What, that we're married?
Lianne and I are married.
Congratulations.
We're married.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We were merely engaged when we shot it.
all right.
Yes. But
we wrote it specifically for Lianne and kind of playing to some of the things that Lianne likes doing but hasn't had a ton of opportunity to do. And we did not write specifically for Omar. We had we put up a casting notice, and I don't know whoever out here has ever put up a casting notice, but we got like thousands of responses.
Yeah.
We got 3,000 responses for people to just play the dead body.
Yeah.
And
for people to play Lizzie, yeah.
And so one of the people who was had kind of submitted to play Lizzie, who's a great actor, who just like didn't happen to look like enough like Lianne's sister. Her agent read the script and was like, I think that my client Omar would be great for this. He's too short. He's not the ethnicity that you wrote in the script originally. But please let me put him on tape. And it was his manager, not his agent. And we took one look at his tape and immediately were like, well, we have to rewrite the script to fit Omar, because he
honestly, it wasn't a huge rewrite though.
No, totally.
It was like one moment speech,
and
yeah.
But he, even though he was not at all what we had pictured physically for the role, from the first moment of his audition tape, I like knew that he had the perfect vibe. And so yeah, he was the last person to audition. He was the last person to get called back
for a callback. Yeah.
And we like basically offered it to him on the spot because he is, and now he's like our close friend. He came to our wedding. He's great.
Omar's the best. I was going to say, I didn't see his first audition, and the first time I met him was the callback, and he was the last person that day, and he was on Zoom because he's based in New York.
Yeah.
And we got off the Zoom, and both Aviv and I were like, well,
he's the guy.
That was him.
Yeah.
He's so nice. I can't wait to meet him in person.
By the way, the first kind of real scene that Omar's characters and Eli is in is like a 7 or so minute walk and talk. And so it feels kind of sadistic now, but his audition scene was all 7 pages of that, because we knew we wanted to do really long takes in the movie, and we knew that it was going to be very kind of theatrical in that way. We were going to shoot a lot. And so we basically made him do the whole first scene, the whole up until they find the car in the self-tape. And his partner Sabira, who is also now a friend of ours, is like off camera, like reading Lianne's parts, and it's just like he nails it from moment one. He got it.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a theater background, so he was incredible at that as well.
Lianne, is that ever tiring? Doing like multiple takes, walking?
I mean, like I love making movies, so it's like I would rather do multiple takes walking overnight in the blizzard, whatever, over and over, and I would still be like happy as a clam. And like the walking, well, actually, the walking was hard because where we shot outside of Reno in a state park there called Galena Creek State Park, National Park. Yeah.
National Forest.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And there were more giant pine cones like this big on the ground than you cannot. This place was lousy with pine cones. I cannot describe how many pine cones there were. Like we actually had the
genie swing. His whole job at the beginning of every shoot day was like clear the path.
To try to clear the path as many as pine cones, because it was just like no matter where you stepped, you could like roll an ankle and drop poor Lizzie.
You just took a big stick and started pushing.
But we did our best and we made it work, and it was like there's so much fun. We really had an awesome summer camp vibe on set, which is like. Every set that feels like that is just a gift.
Totally. And you produced End Zone 2, right?
Yeah.
And acted in
and
it.
Acted in
it.
Yeah.
If people want to call it acting. Yeah.
The people want Backwoods Bob. That's what they want.
That's right.
So I think you also have the kind of, it was a similar work ethic, I think, where everyone was pulling everyone had multiple jobs.
A small crew, and every single person there was doing other things besides.
Very similar vibe to End Zone.
The actor who played Lizzie, Megan Osterreich, who's incredible in this, was also our second AD. So she's in her corpse makeup, like sending call sheets out for the next day. And our script supervisor was also our art PA, was also our costume PA, was also the body double for the bag at times. So like, and that, on a huge movie, multiple people have just one job, and there's a lot of like kind of sitting around. And this one, it was the exact opposite, where everyone was balls to the wall the entire time. But it felt really, people get like antsy when you're shooting 10 overnights, but like everyone was there for the best movie that they could make, and everyone had like stuff to input about the story, about the performances, about like everything that was going on. We tried to make it as like democratic as possible.
Yeah, we had a really, really great crew.
Yeah, our crew's awesome.
I know for End Zone 2, for me, and part of it was also my first feature film, but it definitely built camaraderie, and like you really get close to everybody, because we have to live together in the cabin, friends. And
we also live together.
Yeah, we had
together,
we were spread out over 3 Airbnbs for this one, because there are a few more people. I think our crew wound up being 16 for the main days, and the last day it was more, probably at least double.
We stole some of your End Zone crew. So Sophia Casciola was a camera assistant, and was like always like, I was always kind of looking to her to be like, horror movie, and she's like horror movie. And AJ, who is in End Zone 2, was on
and a massive part in Once and Future Smash.
Oh yeah.
It was on the camera team for our final day, which is like we had a bunch of extras and other stuff.
When you see the movie, it's the scene with the big scene.
The scene where you need more than 10 people. And so, and that was before I even saw the movie. And so it was great. It felt like people were rallying around this project because they believed in it, and because they wanted to make a cool, fun movie with their friends.
Oh, yeah.
In the dark, in the woods.
Yeah.
In my experience now, that's how a lot of these things come about, is you find people that you like to be around, and and obviously you want people that are good too, good at their job. But a big part of it is, you don't want to be around someone for 10 days that you can't stand, or whatever. So
no matter how good they are.
Your people, and you make stuff together. Because I'm going to be in AJ's movie he's filming out here, Our Man Funk. then
I'm
he's gonna
amazing.
exit
so
the editing
excited
Arbor
to
Day,
see
so-
that.
Yeah, we did the
It is
table read
awesome.
the other night. That was exciting.
Nice.
Michael was there.
Nice.
I play a much
Oh
different
yeah,
role.
I know he's coming out to work on those, which is awesome.
We tried to get Michael to crew this movie too, and he was like, "I don't want to stay up late. I have the dogs to take care of. I don't want to stay up late."
Oh yeah.
I
thought it was fear of giant pine cones.
also true. As someone who ate shit multiple times on those pine cones and tripped over basically everything, and now my knee clicks. I don't blame him for not wanting to.
But he was like so helpful also in
Oh
the
my
kind
God.
of like post process, like helping us
Yeah.
with, getting the things together. He's the best.
Both of the. I mean, I'm just gonna talk about how much I love Mike and Sophia and End Zone too. But they have been so helpful with like being there to listen to us complain about film festivals or just. You're right. That's our dog.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
That's our dog.
Leanne knew that our dog was going to do something fucking weird. And yeah, so Mike and Sophie are just great, like protectors of the horror community, which makes me really happy.
Yeah.
Just real quick, since I am the producer, I believe this is sold out, but there is the limited edition
VHSs.
End Zone 2 VHS tape out there.
Yeah.
Do you have a VHS?
Yeah, we have a VHS, we have the novelization,
So-
and we
nice.
have the Blu-ray.
If you
So
need a VHS for the low price of $100,000, we will send
Super
you
chat now. Yeah, no.
the End Zone 2 VHS.
So, doing everything at night, keeping it well lit. So I guess both keeping it well lit and also making it seem like it's still at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am a little embarrassed about telling the story, but I like it too, which is I thought I was very clever. So that it's all taking place at night, and the characters have like a flashlight and a lantern, and I wrote that into the script. And when I sent the script to my DP, I was like, we don't need to do anything. There's a flashlight and a lantern. Like, we're going to be fine. And he called me an idiot. And he quoted Roger Deakins, the great Roger Deakins, and talked about the student film Island of Light, where like only the subjects are lit and no background. And so we went back and forth looking at a bunch of nighttime stuff that we didn't like. Sophia will kill me, but I don't like stuff that's too blue, right? That's just like blue filter on the camera, perfectly exposed. That doesn't feel like night to me. And I also don't like the kind of like glowing backlit moon halo. And so I had pretty stupid demands on how we lit this based on my icky aversion to the way certain nighttime stuff looks. And Tommy, every day, our cinematographer, his name is Tommy Oceanic, he's a genius, and every day we would show up to the park at kind of sunset, walk the trail for our scene. When we'd walk it with Tommy, and I'd be like, okay, we'd start here and get to here, and he'd go, that's impossible, you're walking for too long, I can't light with what I've got, I can't, and what you want I can't light X this distance in the forest. And I'd say, okay, try your best. And then he'd storm off. And then 20 minutes later, he'd come back and be like, it's lit. And so he just he pulled magic out of his ass every single day. And all the credit goes to him and to our gaffer, Alberto de Costacaya, who like every scene where they're walking with the lantern, where it feels like it's just the lantern, Alberto is 6 inches off camera holding like a tube, a light tube set on the fire setting, and like he walked every inch of that movie with the actors.
Yeah, and like remotely controlled the lantern, like all kinds of
stuff. We did a lot of
stuff.
sneaky shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tommy and Alberto and Kevin and Chi and all of our crew, and Connor and Tyler. That's it. That's everybody.
And Anna.
Everyone was amazing. I was talking
and
about,
Veronica.
Talking about camera, but yes, Anna, Veronica, Megan, Robert, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. Lianne, not just because you're here and I like you and we made movies together. You're great in the movie.
I like you too. Oh,
You're
thanks.
very welcome. And, so yeah, honest. Well, you have to have the script, and since it's primarily the two characters, there are other people in the movie, but it's primarily the two characters interacting. Both you and Omar, really have to carry the movie. So if when he didn't work, the movie wouldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of written that way, like written in a way of almost a play. And then we also rehearsed it that way too, which really, really helped once we got to set. We maybe like a month before we were on location, Omar came out to LA for a week. We went to our producer's house every day and we rehearsed like chunk by chunk in the backyard, carrying around a lawn chair because that was something that we had that we could carry around. And we just built on it until the last day of the week. We did the whole movie up until like the very final scene, just from start to finish, walking in circles around the backyard. And Aviv and our composer watched like it was a play.
We watched the movie as a play, and the composer, who's an amazing composer named Alexander Kalinowski.
So cool. So good.
Like we were like discussing, she was like hearing different musical cues and like kind of composing the film as she was watching it in this backyard in broad daylight.
Yeah, but it really, really helped once we got to set. It was like Omar and I knew what we were saying. We had said it together so many times. We could, really play with it once we got there, not worry about the pine cones, not worry about that we're really carrying Megan or we're, whatever it is that we're doing. We could really focus on like being in the moment and not worrying so much about like all of the fun actor work that you get to do in rehearsal.
I would prefer not to talk to the actors when we're on set. I truly like the sound.
Aviv would prefer not to talk to any actor ever. No, I'm joking.
But like, I think that it feels like I'm not great at multitasking. And so it feels like the stuff that you can do ahead of time is work with the actors. They should always know like, oh, this is what I'm trying to accomplish in this moment, that kind of stuff. So that on the day on set, I can look in the monitor, check focus. I can do all this other stuff that is taking my attention away, and not worry about the actors turning in a bad performance because we've already they've already fucking nailed it, and I was just kind of there being like, good job.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a really great way to make a movie like this because by the time we all got to set, we all knew each other and we all trusted each other, and that it just enabled us to like move so quickly and then even have fun with the script and try new things and try different things too that maybe weren't there at first, but we were like, yeah, let's try it this way.
Can also give you a little bit of an exclusive during that. I don't know if anyone cares. During that week, I gave a disposable camera to Omar and Megan, the girl that plays Lizzie, and just told them to like go take pictures of each other around town to like make like the kind of lovey-dovey stuff that's inside of the the notebook that they shared. And so this is one that we didn't use on the thing, but that was like a sneaky trick for me to try to get them to like bond with each other a little bit, because they have basically no scenes together in the movie, and we still needed to like feel their love for each other. And so I sent them off for like an afternoon or two to go shoot pictures with each other, and they like came back with so many great ideas and like super worked. And they had like, oh, what if their like secret like love language is like squeezing each other's elbows, and like they like came back with all of this cool relationship-y stuff that I could never have come up with. Like Megan was great with that stuff.
Yeah, they just everyone just came to the table with such great ideas and really ways to take ownership of the story and of the characters and of every moment.
I think that kind of stuff, even if the audience doesn't know, like you said, they're like that their secret thing is they touch their elbows, but just that the actors know and stuff, and it comes through on some level.
Totally. And Megan was great with that. She was like, originally there was like some kind of more stuff for her to do, and we went through the script together, and she was like, I don't need to do that, I can just do this instead. And I was like, that's so much better. Thank you. Thank you for saving this movie. So yeah, everyone really put this stuff on their backs, including our sound designer, including the camera team and PAs and everybody. And so I'm so grateful to all of them.
So 1990, why the 90s?
So we did the 90s, first of all, because it's, the 90s are back a little bit. So we were like,
to be nonstop 80s, but now
yeah,
we
were like 90s. It'll be so easy to find clothes, like so easy to do wardrobe, and then also like that was initially what we kind of thought. We were like threw around some different ideas. It was like
maybe 60s, maybe like
and then that it's like, well, then you have to get a car from the 60s, or then you have to whatever. It is. And then when we found that news article I talked about earlier, I think that happened in 1990 or 91.
Yeah, it was 1990.
Yeah. And so that was why we were like, well, that's when it is now. Great.
Yep.
I mean, like from a practical, like writing and producing sense, I don't know which came first, the creative side or I think it was kind of co-evolution, but like, I hate cell phones in movies. I hate
that's exactly what I was thinking, actually. So yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we don't have service now, so we can't call for help. All that stuff is so I like hate having to do that in modern movies.
It almost always just stands out. So like either like you said, it's just annoying if someone is on their phone in a movie. And if you just ignore that they exist, or you come up with some reason everyone's gonna throw their phone away,
some kind of bogus,
right? We very early on in the process, we were like, they don't have service, and then it was like it didn't even. I don't think we even got a letter on the script before it was. Wait, we're in the woods. We don't have to dress anything. Let's just make it before cell phones. Yeah, right. And I don't think I even told you this, but just offhand, randomly, I was on the phone with my mom the other day, and she was like, "I have a tip for you. When you're making movies, don't have them text. I hate when they text. I hate when the text comes on the screen. I can't read it." And I was like, well, don't worry, because Aviv hates having cell phones in movies. So
yeah, I'm with your mom and Aviv. So even when I'm even just that, even though like if it's a modern movie, it doesn't make sense if the cell phone's just not there. But I just don't like to watch someone on their phone in a movie.
It's ugly.
Yeah.
I think the one movie that I think does it really, really well is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
I would agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
They do kind of what I was like, not envisioning, but like I thought would be really easy with Lizzie, where they're like using the cell phone to kind of expose the subject of the frame, and they did an incredible job, and they like are definitely like cheating a lot with that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think like you once again using your limitations as a storytelling device. We also realized, as you said, that because we're in the woods and we're out in the middle of nowhere, basically the only thing we would have to like pay for period would be like the costumes. And so we like, why not make it kind of spooky in the past? And that one, another kind of co-evolution was, we knew that this was going to be a 2-person gag. We knew that there was going to be a lot of talking. And so some of the movies that I love from growing up are those 90s indie movies that are like Before Sunrise or Clerks, or it's just conversations and conversation like alludes to a much bigger world. And I'm not saying that this is like Before Sunrise, which is a masterpiece, but we like wanted to kind of embrace the 90s-ness of our low budget production and our minimal cast and all this other stuff. And so it all kind of like gelled together really amazingly.
Yeah. And
I imagine any other way.
Think also too, when I'm thinking about like witches and witchcraft, I think about Charmed, and I think about Now and Then and The Craft. Yeah, which is like The Craft is so good. I'll be honest, at the first time I saw that movie was 2019, and I was like, this is fucking great. Where was I?
I bought you, Nancy.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when it came out, like, I probably saw it but didn't really think much of it. And then it was a couple years ago, Annabelle and I go to a 12-hour horror movie marathon, and the theme was for Halloween, and the theme was witches, and they showed The Craft. I was like, I don't care. And I watched, I was like, oh shit, this movie's awesome. I don't know why.
Very fun. Yeah.
It's great. It totally holds up. You're like, it's so good.
And some of the characters originally were going to be styled in that kind of way, and we thought that was going to be like a little too much, so we went in a different direction. But originally, the climax of the movie involved a bunch of people dressed like Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about like 90s pine cones. They're probably still the same.
Yeah, they're probably the same.
Same cones.
they're still twisting your ankle. And,
no GMO cones.
I like that people are watching the movie being like, that tree's too modern.
It's way too modern. Gotta trim that down or let it grow. Maybe
I know that tree.
So Megan, who plays Lizzie, and she's really great in the movie, and is the poster art for the movie.
She's spectacular.
She's awesome.
And she was on the team from the beginning, and we all kind of quietly knew that we wanted it to be her, but we didn't want to just thanks, Christopher.
Oh, thanks, Chris.
I
hope it's okay. I call you Chris.
I said Chris.
It is.
To direct your hate mail to Lianne. We all knew, and all being me and Lianne and our producer Veronica, all knew that Megan was like the role. But we didn't want to be, like you said, we didn't want to only work with our friends because they were our friends. So we like made her make a tape, and we looked at thousands of other people.
Yeah,
literally thousands, and Megan was the best. Megan, she had an unfair advantage because she was there from the beginning, but like understood the role better than anybody, and understood kind of the humor and sadness in the role, and was so great, and such a, like, you know, that river was fucking cold.
Yeah,
she's a champ every night. We had this big puffer jacket for her every night. And yeah, so
because poor Megan, like Omar and I got to wear long sleeves and pants, and Megan had on this like little dress.
Yeah, and can't shiver because then we can't use the take.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was like no person on the set had a harder shoot than Megan, because she is freezing and can't move and all this stuff, and like did such a good job as a dead body that sometimes we were like, all right, like
she's
we're just
right,
talking,
yeah.
and she's just like on the ground. But yeah, she was such a great sport, and movie definitely would not be the same without her.
Yeah. And the opening scene's fantastic. Right away I was like, oh, what am I watching here? This is really cool. Yeah.
What the fuck is this? Yeah. It was
that in the script, the opening scene?
Yeah. So that song is written by my friend Johnny. And he was in a band in Philadelphia for a long time called Shore Juror, which is, I can't imagine why they didn't take off. Their name is ungoogleable.
But their music's so good.
Their music's amazing. And he sent me that song in like 2011, just because we were buds, and he was like, this is my new song. And I just thought it was so cinematic. And what Eli says about the song in the movie is like what I think about the song, which is like, it sounds like the end of some sad old movie that like you just watched, you flipped on. And so I knew that I wanted to start with a musical number, and I knew that was the song, and it's in the script. Basically, like exactly what happens in the script is what happens on screen.
Yeah.
And we shot the scene and put it in our cut, and everyone told us to cut it out of the movie.
Yeah, lyrics were written into the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, when it all came together, I mean, it was, a lot of people didn't connect with it, and they're like, why isn't the rest of the movie a musical? But then I don't know, I think it was Rick, maybe our editor, that came up with the titles.
It was Rick. So we didn't have the titles over the song, and
for one of the earlier cuts.
Yeah, and it stuck out to people. We were also like showing it to people, being like, hate this movie, right? Like, tell us everything that's wrong with this movie.
Mhm.
And it's given me a little bit of like movie dysmorphia, where now when people like it, I'm like, this? But yeah, as soon as we put the credits over it, it like engaged like that extra little spice in people's brains, and now it's everyone's favorite part of the movie, which is crazy, because had we listened to our worst critics, we would have cut the scene.
Yeah, but also like I don't think you ever wanted to cut it.
No,
I
no.
personally didn't ever want to cut it. I love that song. I think it's beautiful. I think Megan sings it so well.
And she
Yeah,
said, so that what you're hearing is her singing it in the woods. So
Really?
we did her lip syncing to a temp track, and then we like went kind of 15 feet away from the creek and had her sing the song with all of the sounds of the woods around her, and like she did it twice, and we basically just like stitched the best parts of the takes together. But yeah, we wanted it to feel as kind of real and tactile as possible. And yeah, I don't think we were ever at risk of cutting it out of the movie, but
No.
it's like so weird where everyone hates it, no one gets it, and then suddenly it just like clicks for people.
Yeah.
Or you find the people that it like clicks for, which I also think is like part of the thing. And then it's like your wildest dreams have been validated of starting a horror movie with a weird musical number.
Yeah, no, it totally works for me. So the message is don't listen to advice.
Don't listen to anybody ever. No, there's so many things that got saved because we listened to people's advice.
Yeah.
We had like written ourselves into a corner or edited ourselves into a corner, and then someone else came with this fresh idea. And so I think it's like maybe 90-10, right? 90% listen to other people, but like the thing that God damn it, this song's gonna work.
Fight for that one.
Or just keep trying to tweak something until it works, like adding the titles
For
to
sure.
make it an opening sequence kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna listen to your gut.
Yeah,
listen to your gut.
Listen to your gut. That's so important. Aviv and I learned that on other projects, and that was actually part of where this entire movie came from, was just wanting to make something with people we knew and think are talented and trusted, and just something that we could all create together and put out into the world. And it was like, trust your gut, hire the people you believe in, and I think it worked out.
I think so too. And anyone who's made bigger projects knows that's kind of death by a thousand compromises, where you write a musical number into the script, and then one person who has a little bit of the purse strings is like, I don't like this, and then you have to sacrifice. You don't even get to shoot it.
Yeah.
Right. You have to give up a little bit of your sensibility and what your gut tells you is right in order to like save the project, and eventually you just like it's
just a different project.
It's just a different thing.
Yeah.
And so we purposely did this by ourselves and like financed it ourselves, which everyone says not to do, because we wanted to be kind of as weird as we want it to be, which I don't think is ultimately that weird, but it's definitely not something that a studio would say okay to.
Yeah, I mean, anytime someone on the show who's like from like quote unquote like bigger things, and then is on the show talk about like their independent project, they always say that it's way more fun, and and the main reason is that they they have more freedom to do what they want and do make what they want to make.
And Omar's a great example of that too. Omar is from TV. He's been on Better Call Saul and Handmaid's Tale and Good Sam. Which he did his callback like from his trailer at Good Sam, and he was like excited about the freedom and excited about like all of the opportunities that the script allowed him to do. And he did something that was very helpful to us, but he told us that he would do it no matter what. And so when his agents were like, we want this and this, we're like, okay, he's gonna do it. And so like it was, I mean, because we had no money to give him really and no place to negotiate, and we really wanted him, and so it was like so hard.
I mean, not like a studio. It wasn't like he did it for free.
No. Right. SAG, we did his SAG paperwork, everything. We paid
SAG, if you're listening, it's all good.
All on the up and up.
Yeah.
but he did it because for the love of the game, basically.
Yeah.
And so that was so actors, I think from like behind the camera, actors can be perceived as the enemy because you gotta pay them, you gotta feed them, they'll call their union rep, blah, blah, blah. But like without them, you don't have anything, and the actors that believe in you will make your picture better. And
Of course. How about did you edit it yourself?
I did not. So our editor is a guy named Rick Chapman, who is great and who I went to high school with.
He's super awesome.
He's incredible, and I basically just gave him the script and the footage and was like, please do this. And he's great. He's a great editor. He's done music videos and other features. And
Super Bowl commercials, all kinds of stuff.
And he felt in a similar way to Omar. He was like, oh, this person is trusting me to like do this and put my stamp on this. And so he took ownership of his cuts, and he did some things that I wasn't expecting and diverged from the script slightly in a couple places because he's like, this is better. And nine times out of 10 he was right. And he was great and like said a bunch of nice things to me about like my trust in him, when in reality it was like basically laziness. I was just like, I don't want to breathe down your neck and make you cut it like it's been playing in my head for 3 years. Like, what do we have? And so we worked really, really hard on the edit, and he worked harder than anybody. But and same with sound design, right? Robert Stronger, who did our sound recording on set, did our sound design, and he like put in weird sound effects. He's like, these frogs sound fucking weird, right? And I'm like, yeah, they do. And he's like, I'm gonna put frogs in when I want it to be weird. I'm like it. Okay, man, great.
And he also came with like so many great ideas too. He's a writer and a director also, which I think is so fun on a set like this, where some bigger sets you're being paid to do X and that's all you should talk about. Whereas on a set like this, it's like, hey, let's all throw our ideas in together and figure it out.
And I'm sure some people who are directors in here, that sounds like a fucking nightmare, where like too many cooks, right? Like everyone's throwing out their ideas. And that really wasn't the vibe. It was, okay, we have to tackle this scene. We have 12 pages. We know what needs to happen tonight. Like, where should they pause? Where should they stop? How, like, does this work? And it was more of like a forum, and everyone knew how much to like push it, I guess. Like, there was no one being like, oh, you didn't choose my idea or you didn't listen to my suggestion. So
yeah, nobody got like butthurt
about it. But it was like, yeah, everyone was, I don't know. I like collaboration.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm all that special or good at stuff. And so I want other people to like help lift up the project too.
Well, I mean, I think that's good advice too, because I do think some people, out of necessity, maybe they think they could do everything in the movie, but for one thing, it's almost impossible, and
and then it just becomes about you, right? It like becomes, look at this thing that I made, and no one else can ever appreciate.
Yeah, and I think no matter, even I think there are some directors that are like, this is mine, and it's like, it's true, it is yours, but there are so many people that come in to making a movie, and I think it's really cool when everyone can really work as a team.
I'm more of like, I think a director is more of like a coach than like a visionary, right? I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan, go Birds, and like I was, Nick Sirianni out there yelling at fans and going to bat for my players, but like guiding the ship, right? But I can't pull focus, I can't light anything, I can't act, I can't run sound. Oh shit, I can't run sound. Funny that I made that noise when I was talking about sound. And so I just have to like trust in my people and trust that they understand the vision, and then it either works or it doesn't. Thankfully this time it worked.
Yeah,
I think.
So after you film it, you get it made, edited together. The festival run. So, have you had experience with festivals before, Aviv?
I went to a couple film festivals in college because I made like a student film that got into a couple festivals, which was great and awesome. And in 2007. And so it was very like, I think I mailed them a DVD. And so very different than what it is now.
But we also had some shorts at festivals as well. But yeah, I would have been to a handful of festivals before, and it's especially like horror festivals are so fucking fun.
So good.
Like at the community at horror fests is just like so warm and welcoming, and everyone's there to have a good time, and everyone's there to like get psyched about each other's stuff, and it's a blast. And we were lucky enough to premiere this at Popcorn Frights down in Florida. And the guys that run that festival, Mark and Igor, they're just like
the greatest,
the bomb. They're so cool. They're so fun. They're so in it for the community. It was just an absolute blast. And that festival is 11 days long. I wish we could have stayed all 11 days.
We only stayed like 5 days. But like, you know,
only that's a long time too.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that, because sometimes you know, you see people, and I understand sometimes you can't stay, you know, more than a day. But if someone comes in, they only watch your movie and leave, it's always kind of like, I don't know about that.
There's no point if you can't like meet people and see other stuff that inspires you. But as soon as we walked in, Mark and Igor gave us like big hugs. They're like, we're so happy you're here. And they introduced us to all these other people. And honestly, Igor helped me like negotiate with Screambox, where he told me that Screambox would like be reaching out because of the festival. And when I told him that I had a conversation, he's like, okay, so this is what you talk to, you say you want this, and you say you want this, and blah, blah, blah. And like, he like coached me through it. Because it's not my first rodeo, but it's basically my first rodeo. And he just wants his people to do well and wants to put cool, fun, creepy films out into the, both of them, Igor and Mark, both want to put more films out into the world. And so they set the tone for the rest of the festival. We were like, everyone there we were all, you know, chatting and yelling at each other about which movies we liked.
Yeah, and we had a similarly great experience at the Vortex Rhode Island Film Festival, which is their horror genre festival. And it's run by two Seans, because New England. And
both spelled with the W.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also so great. They put together such an awesome festival, brought people from all over the world to Providence to screen horror movies for a weekend in October. And they just like took such great care of us. There was some kind of mingling event every night. We could meet other filmmakers, and it was such a blast. And the whole festival run in general, we had a good time, and some of the people we met, it looks like we're going to wind up working with in the future. So that's
too cool.
I mean, like, what more could you want? Like, that's so fun.
Yeah, I don't think you know this. I had an hour-long conversation with Stephen Hugh Nelson, who directed a movie called Old Wounds, which is amazing. And
playing festivals still, I believe.
Festivals still was at Popcorn Frights. It's like a found footage, a really amazing film. And like, I had this idea for a found footage thing, and I was like, I gotta call Stephen. He knows found footage. And we talked for a literal hour about like, what if we did this? What if we did this? So like, yeah, most people, at least at the festival level, just want you to succeed.
Yeah.
Which is so, I mean, living in LA, that's not
you can't ask for more than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And it's everyone up and down. It's from people just there to watch movies, any level filmmaker. Maybe it's their first movie, maybe made shorts, and then some like established people. You're all, you know, everyone's treating each other equal. You're all there because you love movies.
Totally.
Yeah.
We actually, at Vortex in Providence, we were at one of those mixers, and then like this random woman showed up because she like walked into a screening earlier that day. Her name's Annie, and we like talked to her for an hour,
And he's so cool when you're like, this random woman is like, who are you?
She was. And so we talked to her for an hour. She came to our screening. She brought her twin sister.
Yeah,
Then she came out to LA and we had dinner with her. She's just like
she's the best. Oh, wow. And it was all because like she went to the movie and went out to the bar afterwards, and she had on a UMass sweatshirt, and I went to UMass, and I was like, oh, hey, go UMass. And now we're friends.
Yeah.
And it's great.
So yeah, that spirit, I wish it was everywhere. I wish it was like, any
place you went on the planet.
Yeah. I also wish every little movie got the feeling that we got when we screened at these places, because just making a movie, just finishing a movie is a miracle.
Yeah.
And so like, you got to kind of have your champagne.
Yeah. No, 100%. And, for me, I've been to, quote unquote, like the bigger festivals, but I love the festivals where it's like one screen, everyone's watching together.
Oh, yeah.
There's a much more community feel, what you guys mentioned, community. And then that's also, you could tell that some of the people come every year if it's local to them. And I don't know, there's something special about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was also how we met. I think Alex, and she was down at Popcorn Frights because she goes and has had a film there in the past.
She's from Florida
and worked with you guys on Once in Future Smash, and was friends with Mike and Sophia. And she's like, I'm going. Like, oh, meet our friend.
And basically, was attached to us for the whole time we were there. Like, went to every screening with her. Like, she just like everyone. It is this weird love fest, and it's so. I guess. I can't imagine there are many people listening to this that like don't believe in horror, but it's like for people like my family, like my mom or someone who like isn't a horror person, it's so strict. It's like very counterintuitive that everyone just loves each other and everyone is like, hugging and holding hands and all this stuff. When, Art the Clown is shoving a chainsaw up someone's head. and it's so there's such a chasm between the thing on the screen and the way you feel in this community.
Exactly. Very well put. And 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 also what I like about horror, I do love Art the Clown and very graphic Terrifier movies, and I like a movie like Lizzie Lazarus.
Screambox original.
Exactly.
There you go. Exactly. So it's whatever you're in the mood for. I like all the different types of horror films out there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And when I was talking to Screambox, I was like almost talking myself out of the deal where I was like, I hope you know that this is not the same kind of movie as Terrifier. He's like, yeah, man, I've seen the movie. I want to put it out. What are you doing? So yeah, I love that a company like Screambox can have such kind of a wide view of what is horror and what is genre and like what's creepy and spooky and it doesn't have to be all just one thing. And some people have kind of a narrow view of what horror is, whether they love that narrow view or like make assumptions and hate it, right? And so it feels great that like it's basically like this weird drama, spooky drama thriller thing is like next to found footage and next to Art the Clown and next to whoever else, Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah. And so will there ever be a physical release?
We hope so. Yeah. The Screambox said that they typically do a physical release for all of their things. I don't have dates for anything. I could guarantee it, and then Screambox would be mad at me if I said, I guarantee it'll be out next month, and then I'll get a phone call being like, why'd you do that? But yeah, we're really hoping. I'm a big collector of physical media and Blu-rays. All my Blu-rays are right over there. And so, yeah, I don't love the impermanence of streaming stuff, and so I always want to like hold it and touch it and whatever else.
Yeah. So Lianne, obviously you've been in cool things like End Zone 2 and
yes,
but going and see Lizzie Lazarus with people on the big screen, and you're in it a lot, and you're the main. What's that experience like? What's going into that experience like?
So it's interesting. So it's like as an actor, I have to watch myself all the time, especially with self-tapes and everything like that. But it's kind of hard in a movie to like sit down and watch it and then not remember what I'm doing as an actor. It's like, I think
let's see it as a movie.
Funny, I was watching at the Friends reunion that was on a few years ago, and when I think it was Matt LeBlanc that said it, I was like, that's it, that's how I feel. He's like, I watch the old episodes sometimes and I look at all you guys and you're amazing and you're great, and I just know I'm acting, and so I can't. And so for me, it's a little bit like that. I'm like, wow, look at what everyone else is doing. It's so cool. But in the same sentence, it's, the further away from it I am, the easier it is for me to like disconnect that it's me up there. I mean, I don't know if I ever really do, but it's really,
you have less of the script memorized.
Yeah, I don't, it's like I don't remember the lines as well as I did when we were on set. But it's nerve-wracking. It's also fun. It's so great to see this movie with an audience, because it's I think any movie that you work on, you feel great about it, and once you let it out into the world, it's like so surprising if like there's a laugh or if people gasp and get scared. You're like, yes, nice, cool. It's and I have a background in theater. I come from theater, and it's like when you're doing that, it happens every night, and it's like you're in the moment, you feel it, and you move on. And it's really cool to be able to sit in the audience and have that experience, as opposed to be on stage and have that experience and it's just like blackness. You can't see what the crowd is more often than not, but to be in the crowd and experiencing it, you're like, ooh.
I also have to bring up at the Providence screening at Vortex, her whole family.
I was going to say that.
Great.
I think maybe I was more nervous there.
I was very
than anything really, because my whole family came down. They're all from right outside Boston, and it was so nice of them to come down. I was so like, I don't know what the word is. I was like verklempt about it, and then they liked it, which was so cool, because it's like,
lucky for me,
everybody's whatever your thing is. I feel like we've all had the experience, even if it was when you were a little kid, of like doing something from your family and then being like, good job.
I was gonna even say, when you said they liked it, I was just saying genuinely liked it.
Yeah, they genuinely like, whoa, how did you do that? And like, what about this?
I'm still waiting for that from my family. I've never gotten that from Neil. He's my brother.
It's coming, Troy.
All right. I've been waiting 57. Well, Neil's not that old, so I've been waiting 40 some odd years.
Yeah.
The thing that her family said to me was, "Oh, it's a real movie." And I was like, what did you think we were doing?
It's gonna go on the poster. It's a real movie.
Oh my God, it's a real movie.
Yeah.
There's a moment in that screening where someone just yelled, "Oh shit!" And I just wanted to put that on the poster.
Oh shit!
Some guy in the audience.
Yeah.
I would approve of that. I think that's good marketing. But Lianne, are your family, are they horror movie fans?
So my mom's a big sci-fi, but I would say in general, especially like my aunts and uncles, not that I knew of, I knew maybe my cousins might be into it, but especially, like my aunts and uncles, I was like, oh, I hope they like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then they did, and it just like was so nice. So nice that they all came down. So nice that they liked it, and like wanted to talk about it afterwards. It was really, really cool. Like even like once in a while, my uncle will send, when a review comes out, he'll send to the group chat a review on Instagram. I'm like, oh, George, thanks. Like, because of course when you make things, you hope people will connect with them. Like that's why I want to make movies. But to see it happen is like something totally different.
Yeah. And unless you're like an industry baby, it's tough to, we both come from East Coast families that are like, why aren't you a doctor? Why aren't you a whatever? Not anymore, but like, when I was growing up. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's great to have the it's not even validation, but it's like understanding that whatever we're doing, even if it's not traditional, is like we are doing because we love it and we're doing a pretty good job at it.
Aviv, what movies like made you like, this is something I want to do? I want to make movies someday.
Oh, make movies today.
No, what made you
me
want to make movies?
Oh.
It's like, Neil's already making movies.
Yeah, I was like, I thought you were doing one. So a couple of them. The movie that I thought that I just kind of wanted to write books, but I don't read books. I didn't understand. And then a movie that really, this is me like showing the exact age that I am, that inspired me to want to make movies is Memento. Specifically the opening scene of Memento where Leonard undevelops a Polaroid, puts it back into a camera, like lifts his hand out, and into his hand flies a gun. And I was like, oh, I get it. I understand that movies are completely different, a different thing than anyone else, any other form of art. And then fast forward a couple of years, maybe just 1 year, my friends and I would do, we were boys, so we didn't call them slumber parties, but we would hang out at my friend Ryan's house every weekend and watch horror movies and watch them with the director's commentary on, specifically Evil Dead 2, where Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell like basically tell you everything that they're doing, right? They tell you how they get every shot. They tell you what is sped up, sped down, in reverse, whatever. And so it really inspired us it made this thing that was like a very thick, tall, strong barrier between us and movies. It like started to break down that barrier, and we started to make our own fake blood. We made our own squib packets. We made our own breakaway bottles and potato guns, and made these weird, like, I guess you would call them like avant-garde horror movies in the woods in behind Ryan's house. And they had no plot. It was just like blood packets sewn into stuffed animals. It was like weird fucking stand bracket stuff. And it was just like one step closer to doing the thing. And I've always just kind of been striving to get to like close the gap between the things that made me love movies and the movies that I make, and also to like be the person that doesn't gatekeep all of the tricks of how we did things, because that's the exact reason that I started to believe that I could do it, right? And so like, I know that directors are supposed to be like mysterious or whatever, and like, oh, I don't know, what do you think? But like for technical stuff, I'll tell you how we accomplished literally anything, because I think it's a magic trick, just like you do. And so yeah, not you two specifically, but like one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just get so
You'll
excited.
tell us all, me and Troy, in private, but no.
Yeah, so those are two really pivotal movies that made me like fall in love with making movies.
Before I get to Lianne, I do want to say I'm a huge fan of commentary tracks, and actually doing this show, I've had a lot of people who said it either inspired them or they even learned how to become a filmmaker. Actually, from commentary tracks. And that's a big thing I miss actually from when Netflix used to send you the DVDs.
The DVDs,
because basically everything had commentary tracks. So I would listen to all of them, and now you only get really the commentary tracks anymore if either it's something older or if they put out like a special edition from like something.
Yeah.
I will say shout out to Rian Johnson. His movie Brick is also another movie that I saw my freshman or sophomore year of college, where I was like, "You're allowed to do this." And he does commentary tracks for everything he does,
Nice.
and will also kind of not gatekeep, and we'll talk about like the story structure and all this other stuff. And he used to do this cool thing where he would record commentary tracks via podcast and then encourage you to go see a movie and cough at a certain time in the movie so that you would know who else in the theater was also listening.
I like that.
I
That's
like
actually
that too. That's pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of, I'm a big fan of Ryan's work and also his kind of like his ethos and like filmmaking and that kind of thing.
Yeah. We've had guests who suggested doing commentary tracks for their movies, like Tim Drive for Extra and stuff. And at the time, like it was harder to do, but now with actually something like this, it'd be easy. We could set it up and record it.
Yeah, you just press play at this time, and
If you want to do it, we can do a commentary track. I'll call Screenbox right now and say,
I'm a big fan. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just like there's one on the there's two.
Yeah.
On here.
The End Zone and Smash Blu-ray has like so much awesome extra stuff. Thanks to you.
That's what you love.
Yeah, me, Michael, Sophia, well, the three of us.
Yes.
So, Lianne, what were movies that made you want to either make movies or act or be part of movies?
I always loved movies. My folks are big movie people, and I think that really helped me. And growing up, I was mostly a dancer because my parents would show me like My Fair Lady and Singing in the Rain and all of these movies, and I like was so interested in it. But also, like growing up on the East Coast, it's like, no, you should become a doctor, or like you should do this. Yeah. And I went to school and I started off as a pre-med, and pretty shortly after college started, I was like, you know what? I'm not good at chemistry or calculus. And I know I wanted to help people and be a doctor, but there's other ways to help people. So I'm going to follow what I wanted to do. And I got into theater and loved theater. Just because, sorry, my headphones falling out. But love theater, still love theater. And just, I think by nature of, I went to UMass Amherst, which is a huge state school, such a great school. And I think it was just by virtue of, at the time, if you wanted to act, you did theater. You got into a theater program, and I did theater for a little bit after school. And it was watching an Indiana Jones where I was like, no, I want to do that. I think I had just graduated. I was like, am I going to move to New York? Am I going to move to LA? What am I going to do? And I was like, Indiana Jones, I want to fucking do that. I'm going to move to LA. I'm going to make movies. It's going to be great. Also, I like being warm. And
not this movie.
And here I am. And I think that's also like such a cool thing where when you're an actor, you can be anything. You can be a doctor, you can be a gardener, you can be on the Titanic. And it's just I love that part about it. I love that it's always changing. And I also love that it's for movies, like it feels like really anything can be possible. That's something also I was thinking about when we were talking about the horror fests. It's like all of these things fall under the same genre, but they're so different. Like you can tell wildly different stories, and it's all a movie.
Did you hear about Reese Witherspoon? So she had this is like just happened today, I think. She had jury duty.
No, I didn't hear about it.
And they elected her jury 4-person because they're like, didn't you go to law school? She's like, that was the movie.
That was Legally Blonde.
That was the movie called Legally Blonde that I was acting in.
Yeah, well, there's also a very funny where we've watched all of Only Murders in the Building, which is a very, very funny show. Awesome show. A good friend of ours also works on that show, and he's the best. Yay, Rob. And there's like a joke this past season where there's a bunch of actors and they're trying to do something to solve a mystery, and they're like, well, I took horseback riding lessons for this movie, and I learned how to speak Latin for this movie, and then I also shadowed a dentist for this movie, so that's why I know X. You know, it's like you're always getting to do new things and add new skills, and
it's a little like being a spy.
It's super fun. Yeah, it's a little like being a spy. I had a very short stint where I was like, maybe I want to be a spy.
Be a spy. But it's not too late, you know.
Yeah, that worked.
Well, I just gave myself up, I guess.
Yeah, but you're not gonna be a very good spy, apparently. You could still be one, I guess.
I'll be one in a movie. That would be great.
I was gonna say maybe Aviv can start writing the spy film.
All of our movies start with us together, where we just kind of like hatch the story idea together, and so there's aren't really many surprises for you in terms of like what is going to happen or who your character is by the time the script is written. So if she's a spy in a movie, she's going to know it before I start writing the script, I think. Or is she?
Or am I? Yeah. Who's to say?
I don't know. Something you want to talk about. Did you meet on a film?
No, actually. So yeah, we did not meet on a movie. We did not meet at work. We met through essentially two mutual friends of ours. So I grew up in Boston, and Aviv went to school in Boston. True. And then he was living there for a little bit after he graduated. I had moved in back with my parents after I graduated, and we had mutual friends, but we never knew each other. And then we both decided to move to LA within a couple of months of each other. And our mutual friends were like, wait, you don't know?
How do you not know each other?
Yeah. And my best friend Hillary came out to visit. Now she lives here, but at the time she was living in New York. And she was like, I got to meet Aviv. And I was like, okay, sweet. And so
game over.
We met. Yeah, long story short, game over. And here we are making movies.
Yeah, it was we were neighbors twice in Boston and never met each other.
Didn't know each other. So. Yeah.
That's wild.
For all of you Taylor Swift fans out there, that was our invisible string. What, you're not a Swiftie? Nasty Neil?
Sure, you know.
I'm not anti. I probably honestly
better not be
a song of hers. So, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, invisible string, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, see, I didn't even realize that was a song. I assumed it was a reference I didn't really understand, so I just
I caught it from context clues.
I knew about that theory
I think you just made it up right now.
But apparently Aviv is a big Swiftie, I guess.
I'm just going with it.
Documented Philadelphia Eagles fan, Taylor Swift.
They're gonna kick you out.
Me and Taylor.
I don't know where they kick you out since you. How did you become a Philadelphia Eagles fan? Actually,
I grew up in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, he grew up in Philly. I skipped that part. He went to college in Boston, but he grew up in Philly. His folks are still there.
Yeah, I'm from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. My first movie experience was I accidentally walked through a shot of M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, which was filmed in my neighborhood when I was about 14 years old. They like closed down all the major streets in this little like hamlet town called Newtown. And my friends and I were walking from the high school to the Starbucks, and we never took the main streets. We always walked through alleys, and so they didn't close down the alleys. Because we were cool. I had a leather jacket. I was 14, and I accidentally walked. I walked onto like the main drag, and I just hear cut. What? Because Signs makes it seem like a farm, and I was like a kid in like a band t-shirt and a leather jacket, so it didn't work for the show. But that was my first brush with fame, and everyone still is like, remember that time Mel Gibson came to town? Yeah. And they go to a bookstore in Signs that our friend Chelsea now owns. Yeah. And there's actually a reference to that in Lizzie Lazarus.
Yeah, the t-shirt I'm wearing the whole movie is
for that bookstore.
For that bookstore and record store.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because with Chelsea's face on it.
Yeah. We made it for the movie.
Because we didn't want to clear any art. And Chelsea's a great singer and actor, and we did a film together in 2012, and so she's like a good luck person that I try to bring with us every movie we do.
Her band's called Dirty Dollhouse. Check them out.
Check them out.
They're good.
I think that's actually kind of good advice too. Get like shirts of people you know, like either a movie or whatever, and it feels real too because it's like it's like a local thing.
Yeah, it was like
for everybody.
That record store was there in 1990, which is part of the reason that we picked it.
Speaking of, there's a part in the movie where Eli like doesn't want to hear Bethany talk anymore, and so he puts on like a Walkman. And I was gonna like write. I'm a musician too, so I was gonna like write a Talking Heads style song to be like playing softly, but I didn't do that because I just didn't. And then Lianne reminded me that her dad was in a band in the 70s called The Works, and so we had period appropriate music that was like recorded in 1971 that we could just use in the film. And so basically all the songs that you hear coming from Eli's Walkman is Lianne's dad.
Yeah. And he's singing. So
he's singing.
That's my dad.
Yeah. So it was cool. And this is like one of those things where we're saying like my uncle owns a helicopter or lives in a castle or something. Like you just like you take for granted that your father-in-law is a musician and can give you period music and everything else. Yeah,
that's a great So I don't want to get ahead of us. Obviously, we want people to see Lizzie Lazarus, but are you guys working on anything currently or having?
We're like in very early stages of our next project.
Yeah, we're in development on like a found footage thing, which hopefully will be very cool. And we just put a project in cryo sleep because we found out that at South by Southwest a movie
there's a similar project with the same name,
same title, same premise, same name.
So
we're like, well,
that we'll let that one simmer for a minute. And
I've been writing for hire, like as a screenwriter, and so I just like turned in a draft of something super cool literally today that I can't really talk about, but like I'm not directing it, but I'm on the Google spreadsheet with like the potential directors, and I'm like, hell yeah, let's go.
It's super exciting.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Would you have advice for someone who's either starting to write scripts or just any advice for someone who wants to write scripts?
Oh yeah. So my degree is in screenwriting, and I teach screenwriting at a college, and so
he's being modest. Aviv's taught screenwriting for like 15 years.
Long time.
Like since he was in college, he's like got out and started teaching and is such a good teacher.
Thank you. So I would like to talk a lot about screenwriting and like do conflict diagrams and structure and stuff. But ultimately make a list of your assets, make a list of your limitations, turn your limitations into assets. And like the audience only wants something for the character as much as the character wants it for themselves. So I don't care about characters being likable that much. I don't care about characters like saving a puppy out of a tree. If the character wants something and demonstrates how much they want it, I'm invested. And don't fall in love with anything in your script, because whenever I write, even if it's something that I'm going to direct, I assume that the director's a fucking moron. I try to like make it kind of director proof without explicitly doing their job for them and saying like, this is where you put the camera. I just like try to kind of beat the rhythm of the story out in the script so that it like makes so everyone is picturing the same movie that I'm picturing, right? And it makes your job as a director much easier when this like whole paragraph that actually should take 10 minutes of screen time, or that should take 10 seconds of screen time. Like you kind of make it rhythmically like edit on the page, right? And then when I direct something, even if it's something I've written, the writer was a fucking idiot. For example, the writer of Lizzie Lazarus, me, wrote, character A picks up a dead body. And I thought that'll be easy. And then the director of Lizzie Lazarus, me, realized that's not that fucking easy. And so the writer became an idiot. The writer was not precious about the writer could no longer hold on to anything that they had written, and now we're boots on the ground making the movie, and we have to stay true to the vision of the movie more than the actual like specific lines of dialogue. Because if you are the writer who is so precious about every single thing that you have written, nothing's ever going to get made, because the first problem that happens is going to just derail your entire movie. Right? So that's like a lot of pieces of advice, I suppose. But
the first one you said about characters got to be likable, whatever. I think that's been proven the last like 30 years with television, because there's like Breaking Bad, Sopranos, The Shield.
Yeah,
these are not likable people, but people
funny.
love them.
I want to shout out my television writing professor, Kim Costello at Boston University, who I took a television writing class in 2009. So like Breaking Bad had just come out, Mad Men had just come out, and Kim Costello stood up there and went, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening with television, because I would have said no to all of these. If you had turned in the pilot to Breaking Bad, I would have said no. And if you had turned in the pilot to Mad Men, I would have said no. And I don't understand what's happening with television. So let's try to figure it out together. And she was right? It was like a big sea change in the way television was told and the types of stories. And she had the stones to stand up in front of a class of grad students and be like, we're seeing something totally different in this industry. And like, who the fuck knows where it's going? And it was one of the best classes I've ever taken. And she's such a interesting writer and teacher. And yeah, so couldn't agree with you more that like, likability,
and it turned out to be some of the best shows ever on TV.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the Shield's the same way. I mean, the first episode of Shield's like this cop killing other cops, and it's like, this is a TV show, and this is the main guy.
You're like, this is on NBC. Excuse me.
so much so that like, even when the creators of Breaking Bad wanted to explicitly be like, you should not be rooting for Walter White. He has destroyed his entire life and his family. And his the audience is like, we hate your wife.
She was the unlikable one who was like,
I think she's such a great actor though. I loved watching her.
And like on paper, everything she does is absolutely correct. But this is proof that like, as you are watching how badly Walter wants to do the thing. Right, he wants to be the best meth maker because that settles old scores and buries demons and money and whatever else and power. And we are so with his perspective in wanting this thing so badly that even when a very sensible person is like, Walter, people are dying, you have to stop, the audience is like, fuck you. Walter never stopped.
Fuck you, dissolve that guy in a bathtub.
So I think likability is overrated. You just have to understand what your characters want.
My theory on Breaking Bad is the big story arc of Walter is he becomes cancer. He is cancer.
That is such a great way to look at it.
100%.
I mean, I don't know. Cancer's never great, but like that is such a interesting way to wrap it all in one.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah.
So Lizzie Lazarus on
Lizzie Lazarus.
We can talk about spoilers if you want, or we can just say like watch the movie.
Yeah, I think people should go out and check it out. Definitely. And then we can always have you guys back on down the road, and we'll talk more spoilers and maybe about something new's coming out or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks so much for having us. This is I shit you not, we've been like so excited to do this for
thank you so much for having us.
Of course, I was very happy. Lianne asked sent me an email, and then I was in the middle of, and then Michael and Sophia actually were like, oh, did Lianne ask? I was like, oh yeah, she asked me to come on, and then and then the same day I got an email actually from Screenbox.
Yes, I don't know if I told you that. Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, cool.
Zach. Thank you, Zach. Zach is our marketing person who has had several hour-long conversations with me about like how positions move. Everyone has been so fucking cool and awesome and believing in this project, and like there's so like it's a very cool director thing to be like, man, fuck the distributor, fuck the corporation. Everyone's been awesome.
Yeah,
everyone's been
Screenbox
super cool.
is the best.
yeah, Screenbox is super great, and they have a lot of cool.
Did they do the current art, the current cover art?
The red,
they
right?
did the red cover art, and
Yeah.
the blue kind of Pet Cemetery cover art is by a artist named Caitlin Rondwin, who we met super randomly at like a movie theater.
Yeah, we went to see a friend of the show, Maya Reeves, who was
also
in
in
End Zone 2.
Yeah.
She also makes an appearance in Lizzie Lazarus. We went to see maybe
Valley Heart is the movie that
we went to see a movie that she was in, and in the lobby at that movie theater in Hollywood there was just some really cool poster art, and we were sitting waiting for the movie to the time to start,
admiring,
and we were like, oh, those posters are so cool, and the concessions guy was like, my girlfriend made those, and we were like, oh,
wow,
can we have her number?
We saw your girlfriend's posters from across the bar. And that guy's name is Travis Digby-Neal, who's also an artist himself. And
yeah, he's
worked
awesome.
together on the poster. And yeah, never have met Caitlin in person, but we've Zoomed a bunch, and she did such a great job with that art. And yeah, I always liked the speaking of like Evil Dead, I always like the kind of alternate posters that you could get of like Japanese fight club poster and whatever else.
Like we have some on our wall right above our heads.
Yes, we certainly do. And so I wanted to make like, Screenbox has the key art that makes sense and is the key art officially for the movie, but I always love the kind of almost looking like fan art illustrated poster, and so that's the one that is on our like IMDb and stuff.
Yeah, no, I think they're both great. Honestly, not just because you guys are here. And why I mentioned too is because a lot of times when I have people on, they'll be like, they have like a really cool poster at festivals, and then I'll see like the artwork for the Blu-ray or the streaming, and it's very, very generic and has really almost nothing to do with the movie. And usually
it's sad when we see that.
Yeah, the distributor like. But no, they did a really good job, and
I think that's what sets Screenbox apart from like there are several distributors who are just like really big catch can, like will take on hundreds of movies a year or whatever, and then just kind of put it through a machine. And Screenbox is absolutely not like that. And I got to like give feedback on this, and we like changed the shade of red, and like added a bunch of stuff, and it's they're a really great company that believes in their products, and it's like an honor to be one of those products that they believe in.
Believes in independent film, which is like
100%,
so cool.
And and it means something, because if I see something, if I get an email from Screenbox, even if it's a movie I maybe not like, it's probably something interesting. And I won't name other people, but like you said, some that put out like hundreds of movies, it's almost like a negative. It's almost a negative, because I'll be like, I don't think I even need to watch this. And every once in a while, I'm like, oh wow, it's too bad that this company put this out, because this was good.
Lost in the shuffle. Totally. So I think like I couldn't ask for better partners making the movie and also like distributing the movie is like we got super, super lucky, and in no small part thanks to Popcorn Frights, who like put us on their radar, and every like I said, every movie is a miracle, but like also just a tremendous amount of luck that anyone is able to see anything in a time where there's like so much noise, so much static.
That's I don't want to say it's easier now to make a movie, but I guess technically someone can make something, but it's harder than to stand out, because there is so much out there, and there are so many platforms.
It's like, I think going back to thinking about like someone that's wanting to try, that is one pro. Like if you maybe think you might want to get into movies, like just like pick up your phone, try to make something, like get a few friends together, see what you can do, see what you can throw together. And it's so cool that we have that ability now.
And you're gonna fuck it up. You're gonna fuck up the first time, the first 10 times you do it, and like we have especially like, I teach college, and there is this like perfection paralysis where if you don't think that you can do something absolutely perfectly, you don't do it at all. And that's like nothing would ever get done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
No masterpiece has ever happened by accident.
Literally anything. Yeah, I also teach too, and I just said to my class today, like, you have to try anything in life. You have to try. You can't just say no automatically. You don't even know before you try.
This is another piece of writing advice that I give to my students a lot, which is what I probably should have said before, but you edit this. This isn't live, right?
Totally.
The worst idea on paper is better than the best idea that only exists in your head.
Oh, exactly. So true.
And so like it is perfect in your head because no one has asked any questions about it and shown you all of your plot holes. Get it down on paper, get the worst fucking version down on paper, and then have your friends poke a million holes in it and then listen to them and fix it.
See, I do want to thank actually Michael and Sophia. They got me involved in making anything, which it was not just cool and fun, everything, but it does made me think, oh, I can do things.
Yeah.
I'm not
Literal
Fredo here,
best.
but yeah.
I have so many stories about them as musicians that may not be perfectly fit for this podcast, but like they believe, like I knew them like really tangentially, and I like basically cornered Michael at a club that doesn't exist anymore called TT the Bears, and I was like, hey man, we know each other. I have written a solo record. Will you produce it? And he was like, let me think about it. And then like a week later, he's like, come over and let's start tracking. And like, yeah, we like worked together on this solo record that I did for months. And he would like go find cellists and violists, and he would like add a string section. I'd come back the next weekend and he'd be like, oh, there's strings in the song now. And I was like, Jesus. So he's always been this guy, both of them, Sophia too, have always been these people who believe in art, will stick their neck out for art and for their artist friends and never ask anything in return. And yeah, I cannot tell anyone enough how much I love those two.
Yeah, they're the best. So and also like when we're talking about filmmakers that are gatekeepers, it's not them. Like they're like, oh, you want to know how to do this? And it's they're the best.
And, so much advice to people I know and other things I've done like Psychwave 2 and stuff, just
yes,
and not really asking for anything. They just want to help out everybody. Which
they've always been on their own trip. They've always just been like, we wrote the script, we're gonna go do it. We have like 10 grand and an old church. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, and I've been to TT the Bears just one time, but
yes.
I've been kicked out of that 3 times, and I'm still here.
Yeah, I have some silly photos from there. I'll post later on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And I can send you, if you want, I can send you a video of Megan singing the song.
Yeah, I love that.
Woods, if you can post it or do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll do something with it. I mean, I could do highlights of the interview and put with it or something.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, that works. All right.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you guys for doing it.
Yeah, thank you guys.
It's good to see you, Lianne, again.
Yeah, great to see you. Great to meet you, Troy.
One last time, check out Lizzie Lazarus on Screambox, wherever you get your screamy
movies.
Do it up. Yeah, no, I really liked it. Not just because you guys are here and you're cool, but I really liked it.
Yeah.
And I hope you want people to check it out.
Yeah. Thanks. If you have questions for us, we're on the gram.
Yeah.
The movie is at Lizzie Lazarus, so easy to find.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I should mention that as a professional podcaster. Where can people follow yourselves?
Oh yeah. So the movie is Lizzie Lazarus, and we'll pass anything along to anyone you have a question for sure. And I'm Lianne O'Shea official, and Aviv.
I'm at Rambo Calrissian on all of the social.
I like this name. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I deleted my TikTok. It's gone. But Blue Sky. Nope. Blue Sky. I don't know Blue Sky. Instagram, Rambo Calrissian. That's all I got.
I'm on Blue Sky. Not necessarily. It doesn't get a lot of interaction, but I want people to check it out. Yeah.
I'll check
I'm
it out.
on TikTok too. So you're no longer doing milk create challenges or anything on TikTok?
So I like TikTok way too much, and then when it went away, I was like, okay, now's the time to delete it from my phone. And then it came back, but you can't re-download it.
So
really?
Because it's like a half
Oh,
ban. So
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. The same thing
Aviv was
happened
forced
with
to quit.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
then the
same thing happened with
savior brought it
TikTok.
back. Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah, he's the best. Let me tell you.
Yeah, of course.
But Lianne is just like steam's coming out of her. But yeah, so I went through TikTok withdrawal last week, and now I like feel kind of a little bit less depressed when I look at my phone, and not none depressed, but less depressed. And so yeah, Instagram is at Rambo Calrissian, at Lizzie Lazarus. And yeah, let us know what you think. Rate us on
Anything?
Letterboxd, IMDb. Yeah, man.
And that helps. That people might not think that helps, but it definitely helps.
Yeah.
Especially
independent
IMDb.
films.
And especially independent films. So yeah, thanks. We hope you like it.
And also, like, we love Letterboxd. Letterboxd is so fun.
Oh, I'm just at my first and last name at Letterboxd.
Okay. Yeah.
I think me too. I think.
All right.
Oh, my phone's lighting up. The phone lines are lighting up. New follows.
All right. I know you guys had to go at 1:45, so I will let you guys.
Oh
go.
yeah.
Oh yeah, we're heading to a friend's premiere tonight.
Yeah.
Not a horror movie,
very
but
nice.
super
Oh,
awesome
forget
movie.
that. No, it's good.
Yeah, fuck documentaries.
Fuck, yeah. The truth. Fuck it. Thanks so much for having us. This is
thank you,
Yeah,
guys.
thanks so much for having
Yeah,
us.
anytime. All right.
You anytime.
All right. Congrats on the movie, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the
yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
We'll see you soon.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Now we're just gonna switch all these graphics over. We're just gonna do it live. I could have. I probably should have played a video or something, but it's not like I'm professional or something.
No.
Yeah. All right. Look at this. Boom. Now we're all Protos experimented up here, but
I was
thanks to Lianne and the
pretty smooth there, Nasty Neil. That was all right.
Could have been a little smoother, but not too bad. Not too bad. Well, I'm still Nasty Neil.
I remain terrible, Troy.
And we have the returning Brian.
Hi.
Hello. Avenet-Bradley.
Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you both again. The Protos Experiment.
Yes.
Which I heard about for a couple of years from a mutual friend of ours. And now people can see it at Renegade Film Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, it's going to be coming up, at the Renegade Film Festival Friday, February 21st.
Yep.
At 3:30, I think.
I don't remember.
3:30, yeah, 3:30.
Just
something
be
like
there,
that.
Yeah, on that day, you'll find it. Yeah. It's 2 days after my birthday.
Oh, it
nice.
is?
Oh.
Yeah.
So you'll be your new birthday plus 2 days.
Exactly. So for people not aware yet, could you give them an idea of what the Protos Experiment is about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been word's kind of been leaking out because of the festivals. I've been kind of a little cagey about it because I kind of like people to see it unfold. So my cagey synopsis is basically there are these people who show up and find themselves in very strange environments, and they don't know how they got there or why they're there, but something is definitely going on, and something's definitely brought them there. And we're kind of with them, unraveling the mystery as they are. And the mystery kind of unravels pretty quick because the movie goes elsewhere and goes deeper into what the mystery is. But the first 30 minutes, there's a lot of the unraveling of what's actually happening. And then once you realize what's happening, then it kind of takes a deep dive into, well, what does that mean? So it's kind of like a psychological horror thriller, and it has a lot of twists and turns, but it's all twists and turns that are organic to the story and the characters finding out what's going on. So
I appreciate that there's not a lot out there about what the movie's about. You know what I mean? There's not like a trailer giving away the whole movie or anything. So at the same time, though, what's that like? You're going to promote the movie. Are you trying to think of like how to put together a trailer, just the idea of like, how do I get this out there so I don't spoil the movie, but you also want to bring people into the movie.
Yeah, we made actually for Another Hole in the Head, which was our premiere festival last December. We actually made a festival trailer, which gives a good taste without kind of blowing everything. So we did make a festival trailer.
Now that I remember, I played it here on the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So we did make one of those. There's another trailer out there, which I haven't been able to control as much, which don't look at that one. That one pretty much.
I don't know.
Avoid that one.
I think it's also good to see kind of like what's in it, and I don't think it's spoiling that much, even if you see a few things, because you can't really relate exactly when it happens or how it happens. So it's more like a tease.
Yeah. And it's mainly for trying to protect it for the festival, right? I mean, once the movie gets released, then we'll just be talking about it.
Yeah. But, that's a big thing. What I like about festivals is I do go into movies without knowing a lot about them, and that is the best way to enjoy a movie.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Yep.
That's my favorite thing. I mean, I'm probably an odd duck. I like looking at trailers, but I only look at trailers after I've watched the movie. So I just don't want to have it ruined. I mean, I love going into a movie just knowing broad brushstroke, maybe genre, maybe who's involved with it.
Yeah.
And just to be surprised. I like movies that surprise me. I really love those. Those are my favorite.
Yeah. It's hard to avoid trailers if you go to movies today, because there's like 25 minutes of trailers.
You would laugh at me because I'm actually in the theater like this. I kid you not. I mean, unless it's a movie I know I'm never going to watch. Then I watch.
Oh, okay.
And there's what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a romantic comedy comes up, or I'll watch the trailer.
Some of those they'll show you the entire movie except for the end.
Well, that's
just
the
in
problem.
The trailer. So yeah.
Trailers used to be an art form. I don't know if you remember like the original trailer for Total Recall, the original Total Recall.
Oh yeah, yep.
I mean, that was like, it was just like this pyramid and Mars and Arnold's floating head, and it was beautiful. It was like an amazing teaser trailer that got you excited about the movie but gave nothing away.
That's so true.
So I think it used to be, I think all they care about now is to make you buy the ticket. So the people who make the trailers, like if they completely ruin the movie except for the last,
they just show the coolest parts of it. Yeah,
they don't care as long as you bought the ticket. So
yeah, I mean,
I get that, but
I don't want a craft to that. I think like the old days when you get just enough,
Yeah, well, one of the only like movie things that whenever anyone asks me what scares me, and not to be a tough guy, but I've watched horror movies since a little kid, so nothing really scares me. But one of the things that did was the trailer for Magic. It's only like 8 seconds long.
Yeah, that's a good trailer.
And it doesn't really give anything away of the movie. It's not even in the movie, honestly, but it scares me, and it scared me as a kid, and I still think that's like a very effective
the trailer which scared me as a kid, and I never forgot it. It was a TV ad for It's Alive.
Oh, hell yeah.
The first one was just the baby carriage slowly turning, and you just see the little hand, this really weird hand of the baby. I was a kid. I saw that just, woo.
Yeah, that would freak me out, too. I remember that one vividly.
Yeah. So the Simon Clarke novel, I assume that came out first.
No,
it didn't. Okay.
It was a really great collaborative effort. There was an original script that Simon Clarke wrote. It was his first script because he's a horror novelist, horror and sci-fi novelist. He's done like 40 published books over I don't know how many years, decades. But it was the first script he had sit down to write. And Julian of Jenga Films, he handled our international distribution for our previous film,
Echoes of Fear.
Echoes of Fear. And he said, hey, I really think you should check out this script. So we checked it out, and it was a real page turner. And the whole time I'm like, I can't wait to find out what this is all about. And then I got to the end and I still didn't know. And then I got like, well, we can't do that. But I was so intrigued by the idea I said, well, like, do you want to work on this together? You know, with Lo and I, and you know, flesh out the story, maybe take it much further than you did in the script. And you know, he was game. He was excited about it. So it was a very collaborative effort. We worked on about a year working on the script.
His original script is like maybe a quarter, like of.
Well, most of it's taking place in the
beginning,
in the first 30 minutes of the current film. But obviously, there's a lot of what he spearheaded in that carries through the rest of the movie. And it was a lot of fun, actually, you know, solving the riddle, which he had kind of created, you know, working together to solve the riddle. And it just during that year, it really came together. And so when he wrote the book, he initially started writing the book from the script, the new script that we'd worked on for a year. But then I gave him an early cut of the movie. So actually, he was writing on the novel. He had the early cut of the movie, you know, a rough cut without any sound design or music or whatever. So he was able to use that, and he found it really creatively stimulating to be able to have, you know, the script and the movie, and then of course, you know, it's a book, so he gets to spearhead things in a further direction.
Yeah, obviously, there's more you can do, you know, unless you do a 10-hour movie. There's more, you know, you can do in a book. So.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But
you don't have the problem like we can't shoot this or something. Go on, Mo, sorry.
No, he was really inspired by the actors, what they did to the characters, and also the different locations we went to, you know, that were like different locations for him, right?
Yes.
So he thought he wanted to use what we had come up with, I guess. What we had.
Watching the movie, I wasn't actually sure, because I was like, well, the cover of the book is from the movie, so I was a little, but now I understand. So I like this. It does make me want to read the book.
Well, it was like a really exciting process. We've never done this before. We've never worked with another outside writer, and having that happen together, the script and the book at the same time. I don't know if you know this, but this is kind of how the novel 2001 happened. Was Kubrick was adapting a short story by Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke was working with Kubrick on the story and the script, and then as that was going on, the book was happening at the same time. So that's, you know, so I really thought that, I remember reading about that process, and to have the experience of going through a process like that was really cool.
Yeah, and it's all these novel writers named Clarke.
You're right. That's the key.
That's the secret. Yep.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna.
Sorry, what?
I'm gonna check out the novel. Not just because you're here. I'm actually really interested in reading it now.
Yeah.
Well, I think you really like it.
He added details, you know, to the characters and gave them even more backstory and stuff. Right? He really delved into them based on how they performed and what they did on screen. He added to it.
Well, yeah, like you just said. Do you know Michael Ferguson? Have you had him on the show?
Yeah. It's So I saw a few people that I know, and it was people who Trista had brought on the show. So I was happy to see him. I've had him on a few times since then, but I remember he was really excited about this movie because he said it was different stuff than he's ever done before.
Well, he's a very key player in the big, very long opening scene of the movie, and I just wanted to shout out to him because he did a fantastic job. It was so great to work with, and just gave it his all. But we were talking about the book and what Lo was saying about how Simon Clarke was inspired by watching the cut. He actually was describing Michael Ferguson. I mean, it's like to such an extent that Mike actually put a post on Facebook where he like put the excerpt of the book with his image from the movie. Because it's like, if you when you read the book, you'll see like, oh my God, it's Mike.
Yeah,
great.
I love that. So
yeah, so that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. We've had a really good relationship with Trista, you know, Robinson for a little while now, and she was very instrumental in bringing actors to our attention. So that was fun. She was acting as like our casting director in the movie, and it was really great to have her part of the film both helping us with the actors, and also, she plays Amber, this very enigmatic character in the movie.
Yeah, as you know, she was the lead actress in Echoes of Fear, our previous movie. So she's one of the 4 main actors in this one, but she's completely different character, which is what was fun. I wanted to make sure that she had a part that was like so different than what she had in Echoes of Fear, and I knew she could do a great job with it, and she did. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, we all love Trista here, not just as an actor, but we love her as a person. She's a great person, and she brought a lot of those people onto the show to try to give them spotlight, and it's cool that she's just a very helpful person.
Yeah,
she really thinks
she's
of
great.
Other people.
Great,
and
person,
she knows a lot of great actors from having acting over the years, and basically she recommends people that she's worked with. It's like she knows like they're a really good actor and they're also good to work with, which is important.
Well, like
in the indie film world, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, she brought in the lead actress, Anya, and she brought in a lot of people.
Yeah,
some of the Protos.
Well, I think one of the early ones was Anya Atkin. She's a Marine veteran, and she really brought something to the role. I mean, she's a great actress, but I think also her background, she brought something to the role that really, really, really fit her character. And she was also absolutely tough as nails, which was very important because we went to some crazy locations.
Yeah, I was taking notes. I was like, this looks like real caves. It's not it doesn't look like a styrofoam cave or something.
Right.
No, they were not styrofoam.
Yeah, no, it was very challenging. There's different locations that we combine, together, but there's a couple that it took over an hour to hike in the mountain.
Wow.
And then after that, everyone had to we had to be very careful.
Yeah.
Safety was a huge concern, but it was difficult because everyone had to carry basically their lunch and anything they needed. Like we couldn't just go back because it was so far away, and we all carried the
equipment.
The minimum we needed. So all the equipment, and
we were pack rats.
So it was challenging. There's one place, another location, like the tunnel, that took like an hour and 20 minutes, close to an hour and a half walking. And there's most of it is hiking up. It's hard. So then once you get there, like, okay, let's have a nap. No, let's start.
And now it's time to get to work. Yeah.
And then the challenging part with that is it cut off shooting time, because we also had to get back before it's night for safety reasons. We can't shoot. Yeah. We have to arrive at the car before it's night. So it's like our shooting schedule was very short, even though, we tried to maximize what we could, but it was just,
our daily shooting schedule.
Our daily, it was very, very short when we went on location. So it was challenging.
How many days was it?
Those were a lot of days.
I couldn't even give you like a real breakdown of days because so many of the locations, basically because of the travel and then the hiking and the getting there and the hiking and the traveling back, they ended up being like, in a weird way, half shooting days. So the schedule had to be very carefully constructed. So this could work in a weird spread out fashion. So it was a real challenging movie to execute. But ironically, it's like the kind of film that you could only do if you were doing an indie film.
Yeah.
Because if you were trying to do this, on a big budget movie, number one, I don't think any of the actors would do it. So what would happen is everything would become sets.
Yeah.
And we really like going to tactile locations. A lot of these locations were locations that we had discovered over a decade of exploring.
Okay.
And when we were working on the story, I was like, oh, you know what? That location would fit this part of the story perfectly. So we kind of like from the beginning when we were fleshing and writing it out, we're like, and then of course once I did that, I'm like, oh my goodness, now we actually have to figure out how we can make it work to shoot there. But I really think it really gives the movie a real visceral sense of reality, being in place
100%.
Like as opposed to in front of a screen or like in a set. Like we've all seen the styrofoam caves and mines, you know.
I was
you
thinking
can
the
see him
$6
shake a
million
little.
man, you know, you could have
I
throwing a
mean,
big
we also went into the desert, and that was also difficult. I mean, not everywhere was, you know, was somewhat difficult.
Well, we hit one day out in the desert, and it was perfect because we were able to shoot the entire scene in one day. But there was this one day, and we knew it was coming from the weather app. There was one day, and the winds were like insane. I mean, the winds were so bad that sometimes someone had to hold on to low just to keep her like planted because we're on this hilltop. So it's like you couldn't even, if you weren't careful when you were standing, you would lose your feet. But it was perfect because we had those conditions for an entire day, and the location in the scene was all in one day, and it was on the top of this special little place we found, which had this iron grate grid. It was this amazing place. So it all just worked. And the actors, of course, they're in this environment, so it's fitting their performance. You know, you don't have to act.
There was,
it's there. So.
Well, for that scene, there was Trista was there, Anya, and then Ricky, who plays Nev.
Ricky Herrera.
And I remember even Trista, she had a super long hair, and it was just such a mess. And she was just like, oh my gosh, I give up, like my hair. But I'm like, it's just.
But everyone was a trooper.
And then they had to.
Great.
It's so hard because they had to like be in character, and this wind is killing them, and it's killing all of us, you know. So anyway, but it was at the end, you know, it's like it looks really good, and they did an amazing job with all the difficulties. Everyone and all the different locations that are difficult, everyone did an amazing job dealing with it.
So you said there were places like you just like either been to over the you guys were, like, how did you discover the locations? Like how did you happen to be there before?
Well, we do a lot of hiking, and there's also a period of time where we used to do like search for like caves or mines and stuff like that. So we take a topo map, and then I would kind of locate where on the topo map where there's supposed to be something like that. And then we would just go and spend a day like basically adventuring, figuring out where it is. So we've discovered interesting locations that way. We love the outdoors, so we would just go out and then explore.
Well, fortunately,
and take pictures and like that.
Unfortunately, the story just because of the way the story unfolds, it was perfect to be able to use all these different places. So we actually put in like all of our favorite places we had discovered and had never had in film. So it was great.
Yeah, so I was wondering how much of that was like in the original Simon Clark novel, like, oh, I know a place for this, or when you guys are writing the script, like, oh, we could put this into the story.
No, none of that was in the original script. None of that was in there because the original script stayed more confined. It stayed in a more confined environment. And one of the things we talked with Simon earlier was like, well, we just didn't feel like it would sustain on screen. I'm sure it would have in a book because you can get inside the head. But visually we're like, well, this will work great for the first act and the beginning of the second act. But then we need to kind of surprise people and kick the door off the hinges and start going to places where people don't think we're going. So, and we saw it, like seeing it on the big screen at Another Hole in the Head, the premiere festival, and seeing it there with the audience on a big screen, when that moment comes, when they're out, it is like such a beautiful moment because it really is like, whoa. Because you go from this dark environment to all of a sudden just, this completely different environment outside. So which won't
Which
spoil
totally
it.
works, because then it makes the outside even more vast, because you're
yeah.
you're with the characters stuck in this small area.
Yeah, I feel like by the time the characters are going outside, I think the viewers are also like, okay, let's get out. Like,
Yeah, you're with
them.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
with
you're
them.
just, please take us out.
And actually, it was the reason why we had never done a shot a widescreen 235 movie before, and knowing that we were going to be in those locations is one of the big reasons why Lo decided to go super widescreen.
Yeah, for the landscapes and stuff.
Yeah. So how long? So not just filming it. How long did it take to edit it together? And I know, since Brian, you're an editor by trade, that might have helped actually when you're shooting, because I know you keep that in mind, like while you're filming.
Well, it helps me in the shooting, because I know, we talk a lot about it together because we co-direct it. So we know what we want. We know the pieces we need to edit it. But editing in post, because I'm editing it, actually makes it take longer, because what happens is you initially have to edit it as intended, and then you have to separate yourself from that. And then you have to go, okay, forget all the intentions. All that needs to go out the window now, and you need to really sift and look at the footage and let it become what it wants to become, which is what a great editor does if they're not involved in the production. They have that initial, experience where they can go off in their own way right from the get-go. But because we're doing it, I kind of have to put it together the way it's intended, and then kind of blow it up and let it become what it wants to become now, which is, I think, really important for me and like all of our films. I just think it's really important that you kind of get out of the way and let the film become what it wants to become, without going, no, I have this plan. It's like, that's great, you have the plan, but look at what you have. Maybe there's something better here than what you planned. So I like to take the time in post, which, makes post a long process, and we're also doing other projects.
It was a long process. The shooting took a long time. I mean, it wasn't consecutive. Like, it was, we'd shoot a little bit here, and then months later we'd shoot more. And then,
there were two big phases. We had the indoor phase of the movie, and then we had like the outside phase.
Yeah.
So we had a separation between those phases because of we needed the weather to be a certain way. So we knew we had a natural break that we knew that we were going to do. But I would say the biggest thing in post probably was the audio, though. There was just a lot of audio work in the movie, because it's a very sound design movie. So there was just so much sound design work to do. It's part of the story, really. So all that sound design, I mean, we do it together, just us. So that means it just takes a long time to get all the Foley elements, but also get all the creative sound design and create the sounds of, there are certain things in the movie that all have a particular sound. And since those things don't really exist in reality, you have to figure out what that sound is. So there's a lot of that in it. And the plus I had was we had Benedict Bridern score the movie again, and he scored Echoes of Fear. And he also scored another movie before that we did. So that was a great relationship we have with him. And so that was wonderful to be able to work with him doing the music, because his gift is knowing how to score a scene so it fits what's happening on the screen, as opposed to like just putting his music on it. I mean, but in addition to that, he's also really good about trying to figure out, like, well, what is the musical thematic of the movie? What is this movie's music? This movie's a different movie, so what is the music for this movie? And that we worked hard on that to figure that out together. And I think he came up with a really great score.
Yeah.
Really
And it's a much different movie than your other films. A lot of their horror movies. This is, I guess, horror adjacent. I'm not someone who likes to argue about genre of a movie, but yeah, I guess more sci-fi. I guess, I don't know, but what was that like, though, to make something completely different than your previous films? I guess that's both exciting, but is that also like is it nerve-wracking? Like we're making something we're not familiar with.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons we were drawn to it was as a challenge. I think it was we had one other break, we did a different kind of movie, but we had done 3 supernatural horror movies before and features. And we wanted to do one like, okay, well, let's not do a supernatural horror. Let's do something completely different than that. And there's a lot of thematics going on in the movie. There's a lot of things dealing with memory and who you are and what does that mean. So there's a lot of philosophical stuff in it. So our challenge was we want to do that, but we also want to keep the pace going, keep people on their toes and keep things happening. So that's why it took us about a year really on the script to just kind of figure out, what would this different kind of story be and how would it work.
Yeah, I felt like it was exciting to have the challenge of collaborating, like with Simon on the story. So something we hadn't done before, like from scratch, working. The 3 of us really like collaborated and came up with all these ideas and how to make it work. And just, so it was challenging, but at the same time exciting to do that, something different, something new.
Did it? So it's a hole in the head, another hole in the head, and it's coming up to Renegade. Did the festivals have any different look on it because it's not like a straight up horror movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
difficult.
so.
It's difficult
yes.
to like target because we have relationships and we've done more horror before, so people are expecting it, and it's a little different. And there's not really like just sci-fi, but then it's not sci-fi high budget. It's like a lo-fi. It's a lo-fi sci-fi. So I feel like it's difficult to pitch. I guess it's difficult and find its niche.
Well, the festivals it does the best at are the ones that have a broader fantastic label to them, where they're covering horror, but also thriller and also science fiction, maybe really dark comedy. So it's like festivals that have a little broader, encompass more of the subgenres. It's been more accepted. I mean, we were in Dead Lake Festival in Serbia, horror on sea in the UK.
Oh, yeah, I know that one. Mm-hmm.
So I feel like festivals that are a little broader in their programming, they get it. But yes, it's difficult if it's just a straight on, like we're horror only and we have a particular idea of horror, like this subgenre of horror, or we don't do that type. So,
yeah. And like Lo was saying, you guys have a history with the festivals, which is very important to have a relationship with the different festivals. That's helpful. And so when you have relationships with festivals that are a certain type of festival, if you do something different, it might not fit in there.
Yeah. What's interesting is actually today we just found out that
was this morning? Yeah.
Was this morning? Yeah. At Another Hole in the Head, the audience voted a movie for the best horror film.
Oh wow! Awesome.
Tied with another film. So basically, we were these 2 films, which I found it interesting because I didn't even think he would put us on the horror category. But I mean, it is horror, but it's not. Like,
I would put in horror, but I know people argue with me what I consider horror.
It's because it has a fine line on how you view horror. It does have this fine line. So I mean, for me, if I were in that context, it'd be horror. If I were in that world, I would find
the picture behind Brian's head there of Trista, I think that's doesn't look like a great place to be. So,
There she is.
No, because it also, it deals with some serious subjects of like being controlled. I mean, I know Brian doesn't want to say anything to spoil anything, but there's like some deep, interesting themes of like being controlled by for different motives that are not just personal but more governmental and much bigger in a society. So I mean, it has all these different themes in there that are like, to me, pretty horrific.
Yeah, 100%. And
I like all subgenres of horror. So
I agree.
as long as it's good, I'm open. I love all the subgenres.
That's what I've always said. Like
Yep.
when people argue me like Predator, Alien, it's not horror. I was like, well, for one thing, does it even matter? Like, are you gonna like the movie less? Like, oh, wait a minute, it's sci-fi. I don't like it anymore. It's horror. And, okay, now I like it. It's kind of a silly argument, in my opinion. Unless you're talking about something that's, like you said, a romantic comedy. It's clearly not in that genre. Then,
Yeah.
besides that,
Yeah, I think there's a lot of overlap in horror. I mean, with the the science fiction horror, but then you have body horror, and then you have slasher horror, then you have supernatural horror, then you got serial killers is really its own subgenre, even though it overlaps a little.
Argument that's really thriller, not horror.
Yeah. So it's just like there's already so many categories. It's like, why can't we all get along?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, it's super challenging because like sci-fi means you're gonna have more effects, right? So our movie doesn't have a lot of effects, visual effects. Like
it does, but we decided early on that we wanted to make a very grounded, the science fiction element in the movie, we wanted to make it really grounded, and we wanted to do it practically. So that was like a decision early on. And Lo actually made these amazing costumes. She made all of them. She designed them and came up with them and created them. It's been a long time when we were working on the script. And she was prepping that. So that took her a long time to do. But I think it makes it very tactile and, separates it from like, the cheap Marvel looking VFX kind of stuff, where everything just looks, I don't know. When I watch a movie and I don't feel like it's real, I don't get engaged.
I agree. Yeah. There's something about weight. The weight is there. I don't know. There's something there. Yeah.
And you can have great visual effects that you don't know are visual effects, and those are my favorite visual effects.
Yeah, if they blend in, like Jurassic Park or something, where there's a blend of different things, and you don't really could tell which is which. Yeah.
But Shane Duberly, he did our VFX shots, which won't say what they are, but there are some VFX shots in the movie. But I think that they're blended in a way that hopefully, when you're watching the movie, nothing in your brain goes, "Oh, that's a VFX shot." Which I see a lot of movies where I'm like, oh, that's a VFX shot when I'm watching, which I think is the worst thing because it's taking you out of the movie.
Yeah. I think even if you don't know, even if the audience doesn't really know why exactly, I think your brain knows.
Yeah.
You're just kind of out of it. See, we see Mike Ferguson here with the I guess a helmet with the lights on, which I think is a very interesting look and concept. And so, did you make that low the helmet? I love it.
Yeah, and it was really challenging to make because not necessarily the design, but
the design was challenging.
The design
you went through several prototypes before you.
What was challenging is the lighting. It was very difficult because it had to be DMX and wirelessly controlled via DMX because all the protos, when they were all together in some scenes, when the light changes, everything had to change at the same time because they were controlled, at the same time. They wanted a reaction for the characters. So I had to figure out how to do wireless DMX on the costume. And that was tricky.
Is this something you have any experience in before? I'm just like...
No, I had to figure it out.
A helmet
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
I always used to like to fabricate helmets, but
no, I had the Ford. I know a few gaffers on some shows, and they were able to guide me little by little. So they didn't say, "Hey, you get this and you make it this way." It was like you need to get this particular strip light, and then you'll have to solder and put it into this particular type. And then I get it and I says, well, I need the wireless component. And then I had to figure it out. And then after I had figured it out and I had some kind of issue, like the light is not blinking or something, then I'd say, hey, there's some problem. And then be like, oh yeah, well now you need to do this and that. So it was this very long process, but they were just amazing. It was fun to work with them. Mike Lee is one of them, and he was just very instrumental in guiding me, figuring out the parts. At some point he says, you should buy this wireless component. And I bought it and I was like, it's weird because I have to plug it in the power, but this is supposed to be wireless. It says, oh yeah, but the wireless is powered. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I need to figure out how to make my wireless and not powered into a wall, powered from a battery. And then it's just like challenge after challenge,
But the great thing, what I loved about it from a story perspective is that's exactly what the people in the movie would have to figure out.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, oh, well, this thing has to be powered by batteries. Well, I have to create some sort of a pack that would go on the back of this person to hold the battery. Like, because they'd have to do that too. So it's like, I love the fact that it's like she basically was creating the thing in the movie that the people in the movie would have had to create to do what it does. So
because actually works.
Kind of cool.
Yeah, we made it like the first idea was about the horses and how people, they can't really see what's around, like, so they're not scared, like you keep horses with blinders and stuff like, well, but they need to be big enough, but it can't be too big, or you have to kind of see their face. So there was a lot of like that. And then I did sittings with the actors because they all, one set doesn't fit everybody. Like someone has a bigger head, or someone has it just had to fit everyone. Yeah. So I had to have everyone come in, do their own measurement and all that. Anyway, it was fun. So I enjoyed it.
So she did that, and she did the other different kind of lit costumes and all that. So
then I did a different concept and lighting for the blue people. They have this. I wanted this like butcher style outfit, But then I wanted them to like lit up in the tunnels, so you could see them from far away.
And the blue lighting actually, once again, is a story point, which I don't know if you thought about it later. It's not something that's like in your face, but if you reflect back on the movie, there's a reason why they would be in blue. There's a protective reason why that would be a good idea.
Well, honestly, after I watch it, I was like, I would really like to see it on the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very visual movie, and obviously it's great to watch something, at home, but the Protos Experiment is a movie I think really should be seen on the big screen with also the sound around you and everything.
It's a very different experience. Every time, because obviously when I'm working on the sound design and editing and everything, I'm looking at it at a pretty small screen. So every time and it's only been 3 times, have I actually been able to see it in a theater, 2 times when it was in the test theater, so I could hear the audio and look at the picture, but only 1 time in a festival. But every time to see it on a big screen, it's like, even I've seen it, I don't know, hundreds of times because we're working on it. It's like I see it anew. It is just like, because I've even watched it going, wow. It's cool.
Yeah. Are you both, Lo and Brian, going to be at Renegade?
I'm going to try to be there. I'm not sure yet, but I'm trying. We'll see. I may have a conflict, but I don't know yet.
Right.
I am tied down with a TV edit thing, and it's on a Friday, so I don't think I'm going to be able to swing getting out of it and get there in time. But Lo hopefully is going to be able to be there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Renegade's a great festival if either of you been before.
Yeah, Brian has.
Well, no, it wasn't Renegade.
It wasn't Renegade.
But Vanessa was running it.
Yeah.
So it was. I know that she runs a great festival, and it's a great audience that comes, and it was a great experience. So Lo didn't get to go to that one because she was in Africa shooting. So I'm like, you need to be the one. You need to go because you didn't get to go to the other one. So I really hope she gets to go. Yeah. Because I really wish she could have gone for the Echoes of Fear screening, because that was actually, she missed almost all the Echoes of Fear screenings. She finally got to see one, but she was always working in a place she couldn't go there. So
you can't just like, I'm going to get out of here of Africa and fly over to Atlanta.
I'm sorry, I'm not shooting today in Africa. I need to fly 30 hours to go to a screening. It doesn't really. Doesn't
Or
really
if
work.
I could teleport.
Yeah, if you could teleport.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what they need to work on. Yeah.
Yeah, they need to work on that.
Yeah. Well, you made the
Yeah.
helmet. You can get to work on the
The
teleportation.
teleportation helmet. That's your next thing.
Just don't make sure there's no flies in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love those movies so much. I love the original for the time period, and I love Cronenberg's The Fly. I just love that movie.
Yeah, so every Halloween, Annabelle and I go to a 12-hour horror movie marathon. It's midnight till noon the next day, and always has a theme. And this year, the theme was mad scientists, and so the two headliners was the original Invisible Man and the Cronenberg's The Fly. And
Nice.
I know people realize this is a good movie, but watching it again, I was like, oh, this is why this is like so beloved. It is a really good movie.
Well, once again, it's like it was pre the crude CGI era, so they were forced to do things practically, and that stuff holds up so great. It's like John Carpenter's The Thing, that it just holds up great. I mean, I don't know if you've gone back, like there was a period of time when some of the bigger budget horror films, they were doing the CGI, but the VFX were definitely not there yet. And you go back and watch those movies, and you're just like, ooh, like there's this creature which they thought looked so amazing at the time. And now you look at it, you're like, oh my god.
There's like one of the Mummy movies, like with the Rock in it. He's the Scorpion King.
Yeah,
not good look. Even though, which I don't really like the movies anyway, but the that and then the trilogy, the prequel trilogy of the Star Wars movies, I never liked them anyway, but watch them now, like, wow, they even look really bad, the CG in it. It seems like everyone's on a green screen like set. The CG does not age well is the point. And even bad practical effects for movies like I grew up watching, most of them are good, but even like stuff that's kind of bad has like it just feels fun. You know what I mean?
There's a charm to it.
Yeah, there's a charm to it.
Yeah. But then
most of it's
some of the great ones is like they've just never been surpassed. I mean, like the original Alien and like John Carpenter's The Thing. It's like I don't think anyone's ever beat that.
I agree. Yeah,
I don't think
and it's still like it's still like America Werewolf in London. I still think it's the best transformation ever.
Or even The Howling, totally different kind of transformation.
Yeah,
The Howling was like
and then like I mean, I still like the original Nosferatu better than the guy with the mustache. So I mean,
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen pictures of the mustache, and I gotta admit, it kind of like it's a weird.
We did a whole show on it. I called it Nosferatu's mustache. I'm anti-mustache.
I'm pro-mustache.
Oh, you're pro. Okay.
This is
interesting.
Yeah, so we cover the very important topics here.
So it's basically the Movember Nosferatu.
right. Yeah.
What it is. So.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Fred because he's one of the main four.
Fred. Yeah, Fred is the co-lead. He is. It's an interesting.
Fred Thomas Jr. His name.
Yeah, Fred Thomas Jr. Sorry, yeah. But an interesting fact about Fred is, do you remember the commercial where it says "What's up"?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
He's the "What's up" guy.
Oh, he's the "What's up" guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I know him. He did an amazing job. In the movie. I'm so glad he was part of it. I approached him and see if he'd be interested, and he read the script and really liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
And he's probably happy, like, oh, I don't have to do "Was Up" in this. Like,
probably
everyone always asks him to do the "Was Up," and like,
yeah.
No, but he is really good at all. Kitty side,
He's a very, very different character, obviously.
Yes.
So
I did actually Anya's until you mentioned her, Anja. Actually she's not been on the show, and I wasn't familiar with her, but she is great in the movie.
Yeah, she's fun. She's a lot of fun. And she I mean, like everybody, they really they knew we were like trying to do a lot with very little, so they all like brought in their A game every time and worked with us. I did a lot of Steadicam on it, and I did also a lot of my own follow focus. So it wasn't always like easy. So they were really great working with me. And then also Anya, actually Trista, Anya, and Nev, Ricky, sorry. Anyway, we have this team name for those three when we were working underground. It's called Hustle and Flow, because they had to they had to do their lighting basically in some scenes, and it was very challenging because they have to be in character, and then they had to worry and be like, no, sorry, we your flashlight is on number 2, and it needs to be more like shining this way. So they were very patient with us and working with us and making sure that the lighting was okay, because I was like, it will feel more like what you are in the in underground. You are like in a real space, and so we don't want to bring too much light around and make it look fake. Like it says, normally you would have that. It's just difficult to pinpoint the light in the right spot while they are like being in character, and they have to worry about an additional non-acting tool. So they was really cool. Like Anya, Ricky, and Trista. I know they remember those days.
And I said it earlier, like Anya is like a Marine veteran, and I really feel like not only was she really tough and was a total trooper, but I really feel like it really helps with what her arc is. She really, we talked about it and we plotted it out, but she executed it so well. I think of all the characters, she has the biggest arc as the lead actress. Is like the biggest lead, really the biggest arc in the movie. And it was great, like talking with her every day where she was in that arc, and I love watching her do it. Like when you watch the movie and seeing it change, and it's a very subtle thing. It's not like one of these like, you've seen movies where someone's like, oh, I'm all whippy. Oh, now I'm tough. It's like all of a sudden, but it's like this like, it's a gradual moving of the needle. And I love how she executed it. It's really good.
That's funny you mentioned. I actually bring that up sometimes on the show. Is the idea of obviously the two ends of that I think is probably easy to play. Like, okay, I'm tough here. I'm not. But the arc of that, the middle of that, I think is probably the hardest as an actor. To have the different level, and also probably the editor. The director to put that together. Like. There's got to be shades from here to there. Yeah.
And, and of course, as it's like from having done movies yourself, it's like, it's all out of order. So
that makes it even more difficult.
You really got to track where you are, because
here you're 75%. And next scene you're 27%. But yeah. So
actually, Trista, this is fun. Trista, when she was the lead in Echoes of Fear, she had come up with a number system. So in the script, we had kind of talked about it. She kind of like knew in the script like what number she was at. So it was like a 1 to 10 with Trista, because she also had a very big arc in that film. So that was I thought really. Hope I'm remembering that right. That's what I remember. So that she had come up with that as a way of helping to make sure she didn't accidentally forget, where we were at that time.
Yeah. Renegade is coming up, and where would people go to see, where it's going to go from there, where the Protos Experiment will go from there?
Well, right now, if you follow either one of us, like on Facebook, if you do Avenet-Bradley, I think we're the only two Avenet-Bradleys on the planet. So it's just us. It's going to come up. So we've been posting on that a lot. We are going to put up a website and some other things. We kind of have been like waiting a little bit till we get closer to knowing when it's actually going to come out. We found that like people have maybe a limited, it's like you start promoting the movie too much and everyone just asks you, where can I see it?
Right.
You know, like, well, sometime late summer or fall.
Next year.
Yeah, be patient.
Yeah, we don't know yet when the movie's gonna be released. I mean, we're still playing more festivals, but we don't know.
It's really
yet.
kind of the beginning of the festival, right?
It is, it's really the beginning, and you know, I'm hoping maybe by the end of the year we'll know more.
No, I think I mean, we'll see. Knock on wood. It's looking good that early fall, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
Nothing to officially report.
We're working on it. You know, we're working on it.
But we're working on things. So.
Yeah. We'd be happy to have you back, cast back. You know, when we get closer to release.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Oh yeah, it'd be great to have some of them on. Yeah. And I before we go, I should say, Corey Landis, who was the principal antagonist or the mastermind antagonist. I got to say, he was someone that we found not through Trista, that we just responded to like a cold audition post. He responded and just did an audition, sent it in. And it was like, oh my God, you know, it's like, he's the only one who's got a handle on this character. Because I didn't want that character to be like the, you know, so Mr. Bond. You know, I didn't want the character to be that. I didn't, you know, the character has to have a grounding of where he's coming from, where he believes in what he's doing. He's not a mad villain. So, you know, so someone who could have that right take on it, but still give him charm and charisma. And we were just delighted with what Corey did.
And I think in a lot of ways that's scarier. Like someone who's, you know, they're just doing what they think is like, this is the betterment of society or whatever, you know what I mean? That's a scarier concept than this probably like a not realistic, you know, James Bond villain.
Just a kind of guy.
Yeah.
Because those kind of people are out there. I don't want to laugh, but unfortunately, maybe more so now than they used to be.
The pinky in the brain. What are you going to do today? Take over the world. I'm afraid there's a few too many of those out there right now. So it makes the world a very, very scary place.
Oh wow, Troy's got. I didn't even notice this. Troy's got the pinky in the brain.
Nice.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, they used to be such a good joke. What are we going to do today, Pinky?
Oh, I love that.
And now it's like, I don't know if it's funny.
Now people's like,
too close to the truth, I'm afraid.
It's scary time. Scary time.
I do want to mention, you know, Trista again, and that is important. Not only, like you said, obviously you want people who are talented, but to be people you like to work with. And I think that's just good advice for it should be common sense for anybody. But if people like you, if people like to be around you and you're a good person, you know, in theory, you're probably going to get more work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, are people, and just from my involvement and stuff, people find their group of people they like, and, you know, they collaborate on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then they also give a good word for you in something else, you know?
Yeah. I think, I mean, we run a small set and we like everyone to be really collaborative. And to me, that's what makes film fun. I know some people I've talked to is like, are you really excited? You'll be able to do an AI movie soon and never use anyone again and not interact with anyone. I'm like, this is like the 7th level of hell to me. Like, you're not exciting me with this concept.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I expected all like the independent filmmakers I know to be very anti-AI, but I get there's some things that you could use it as a tool. I understand that, but the concept of just using it to just create anything, it's like that's not a positive thing to me. Or I don't know how it's a positive thing to anyone who actually is creative or makes something.
Well, you're never going to get what you get when you get creative people together and you're all working together. There's a magic you're going to get from that, you know, and I love that. That's why I love film. I mean, that's why I never tried to become a novelist or something, you know, you'd be all by yourself. Just, you know, it's like, I mean, that's the medium that I've always loved ever since I was a kid, you know, since I was 10 years old. This is the medium that I was like, I saw and I went, yeah, this is how I want to tell stories. And I didn't know that intellectually. It wasn't like I was a 10-year-old kid going, I've decided this is my medium to tell stories. but it just happened naturally because, film is the best thing in the world because it's every art discipline there is. You've got your sculpting, you've got your artwork, you've got your actors, you've got your costume. I mean, basically every artistic medium is in, music, audio. I mean, it's all there. So it's I don't know. I love it. So I love it. And I know people are always saying, oh, it's the end of film, but I think movies. I heard
that so much about theaters, and honestly, when I go to the theater, there's a lot of people there, especially like besides like giant movies, like for more independent stuff, it's people going to see weird horror movies.
Yeah. Well, to me, horror movies and comedies are the two things that you're never going to get that experience at home.
Yeah, true.
You'll watch the story, you'll see the movie, but you're never going to get the experience you see in the theater. Now, like a movie that's just a drama and no one's reacting to it, maybe you don't get as much from the communal, vibe, but comedy and horror, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you've been in many horror theaters, and when everyone reacts to something, it's like
it's a great experience. That was the main thing I missed when during, obviously people had worse problems, but going to the festivals and watching movies together is a great experience.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know what the point of that was. The point was go make stuff and watch stuff. And I always thank Michael and Sophia for getting me involved and actually making stuff, but also blame them because then it made me want to keep making stuff. So
it's a very potent, addictive thing. Yeah.
Listen, I'm making Troy make stuff with me, but it's been fun.
Yeah, it's great. But see, that's great.
So now I'm gonna have to try it. So,
great! That's awesome. So you are going to be doing something then together?
Yeah, we're making Arbor Day. Hopefully, May here's something that Troy sculpted out of.
Cool!
Nice.
I've been doing a bunch of weird, practical effects for this one. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
My first time doing stuff like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, Troy retired earlier this year. Last year, I guess now. Yeah. And I was like, well, I got to put him to work. So.
Well, you didn't retire, Troy. You just shifted into a new career.
Exactly. Now I'm doing fun things. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Neil's got me making all kinds of goofy stuff.
It's part of it.
So it's all good.
Great. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been fun. So the Protos Experiment, go and see it. It's kind of coming at Renegade, coming to a festival, and maybe later in the year.
Yeah,
February
21st for Renegade in Atlanta.
Yeah, and that is really a cool festival. I wish I could be there. We were there for Smash and End Zone 2. Is a great time and amazing trophies. I know making movies, like people say it's not about the trophy. And I understand that, but it's still a really cool trophy.
No, it is. I gotta grab it. It's gonna show you the trophy from the other festival.
Well, it still has the same. I think she still has the same trophy.
Is it?
Yeah, she still has a Lizzie. She still has a Lizzie award, I think.
Oh, really?
So it is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it was the greatest part about this was going through the airport to come back. That was so much fun. I just I took it out of the bag because I'm like, look, I know you're gonna check this. Just check it.
Yeah. Plus, it's like, hey, look at this cool thing I won. So,
exactly.
But no, it is a fantastic award, and no, you don't make it for that. But it's nice. It's nice acknowledgement. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Both things can be true. You didn't necessarily make it for that, but it's also still really cool to have it.
So. Yeah, you can still just kind of swagger around with the trophy and go, look at this.
I mean, that's why I love festivals is really just seeing it with audiences is so much fun.
Yeah, I agree. And seeing stuff with fellow everyone loves movies there, whether they're just there to see movies or making movie on any level, and everyone's on the same level. If it's the first short they ever made for $100, or if it's like an established person's made, lots of stuff. When you're there, everyone's talking to each other as just another a film fan.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
so go to Film Fest. There's probably one near you wherever you are. It might be small, might be big, but seek it out. Yeah.
Well, plus it's always different from festival screening to other festival screening. People's reaction as a group, there's always this like interesting group dynamic that is different from festival to festival, and that's kind of really fun, actually.
Yeah, we didn't get to go to the Dead Lake one in Serbia or the Horror on Sea in the UK, but Simon Clarke, the author, he's a UK based author, so he went to the one in the UK, and he had a great time. But it was a really interesting experience because he kind of reported back, and it was really well received there. It was cool, even though it's probably was one of the more outlier films for what they programmed. People really came out to see it and they really liked it. So that was great feedback.
Yeah, that's a really cool festival. As a lot of our friends that come on the show regularly, like the Trash Arts guys, they go to that one a lot, and it's
they have a widespread of what they show. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that about I do like festivals to show a bunch of different stuff because I like a lot of different things, not just.
It's different because now you start seeing a lot of similar things, on some of the streaming services, and you're like, oh, everything's the same, but then you go to a festival and it's like, you're seeing something different. The story is different, the way it's presented is different, the way of thinking is different, and it's kind of refreshing to like break it from all the same,
Yeah, a festival that programs like all the subgenres are the most fun because it's like it's really cool to see like a comedy horror, and then turn around and see a body horror, and then turn around and see a serial killer, and then you turn around and see a spooky ghost story. It's really fun to see that variety.
I agree. It's like no one under probably 30 knows what the hell, or probably under 40 knows what, but a mixtape, because you got the highs and lows. So it's like I like a really silly, just a bloody movie. I like a Terrifier. I know some people don't like them, but then I like something more thought provoking, and it's fun to watch all the different stuff.
Well, I think variety is the key, and indie film festivals, like Lo said, you'll see the stuff that'll wake you up. I mean, we've all been probably guilty of like, I'm tired. What's on my streaming service? And you'll find yourself 30 minutes into a movie and you're like, why am I watching this? It's like, because it's just like, it's not that it's bad. They spent a lot of money on it. The production value is great. The acting's great. But it's like at a certain point, you're like, I've seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mentioned this on a show, like, because we get a lot of us screeners for the show, obviously. And to me, the most boring stuff, even if it's technically well made, like you said, but if it's just the kind of, I always feel like someone just made a movie for the sake of making a movie. I hate to say that, but it's just like, this is not, it's the same story. They're not really doesn't seem like anyone's particularly having a good time. There's nothing new here. And then I could see something that maybe technically isn't well made, but you could see like they had a good time, or they tried something new, and I would enjoy that a lot more,
Well, I got to say, before we wrap up, I just want to say, like, we were really fortunate with the Protos Experiment, not only getting hooked up and working with Simon Clarke, but the whole reason this movie happened was we met Mike Chirac, who's the executive producer and one of the producers of the movie. And Mike Chirac had seen Echoes of Fear. And he basically wanted to have lunch with us, and I had lunch with him. And I thought he just wanted to kind of pick the brain a little bit about movies, like people like to do, which is fine. We share that. But then it was like at the end of that lunch, he was like, I'd really like to do a movie with you and produce a movie with you if you'd be interested. And I'll put the financing for it together. And it was like, wow, let me think about that. Yes. But so it's like he's really the catalyst of how we were able to get going on this movie. And he still wants to work with us, and we're talking about maybe doing another one. It's in the early stages, but what I really love about Mike is it's like with Lo and I is he just wants to make a good movie. He loves horror, but he doesn't want to just like you said, just make a movie to make a movie. He wants it to be a great horror movie. Now, obviously, on the indie side of thing, on the budgets and everything, great is like what you aspire to. If you land on good, you're happy. But the fact is, he, like Lo and I, he wants it to be great. He doesn't want to be like, well, how quick can we shoot it and throw it out there and call it a movie and slap a poster on it, which I love him for that,
Yeah. And yeah, Protos Experiment, I really dug it a lot, not just because I like and people in the movie. And it does look great. And knowing that Lo actually made those helmets and stuff adds a lot to it.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah, just thinking of that.
And I am a fan of stuff, like you said, in real locations. To me, that really adds a lot. Tunnels, actually, I said about nothing really creeps me out or whatever, but being down in a tunnel does kind of creep me out. So I like all the stuff down in the tunnels.
You know what's super creepy too is when you go in tunnels, nothing works. Like if your walkies, nothing functions. Yeah. So it's like you can't like separate yourself from everybody else. Like I had mapped out all the tunnels.
Yeah, you can't just whip out the Google Maps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a very good handmade Google map of the tunnels. But anyway, you can't. It's like even if you wanted to communicate and you went to another tunnel, you couldn't talk. You couldn't hear each other.
Yeah, just that idea is scary to me because
it's scary, and it's so pitch black. Like there's just nothing. Like
and as you know from the story, the rock part of this and the signals not going through is a very critical part of the story.
Yeah.
So that's why we knew that, like, oh, this is a great location because it fits this story.
I mean,
that's legit now. Like, boom.
There's some areas over there that I'm scared alone. Like, especially because you hear drops. Like small drops of the water from the actual rock. Yeah. It's like sweating these drops.
She's saying this. Everyone gets to go outside and have lunch. I get to stay inside because someone has to stay with all the stuff. So I would like go in and not leave to the end of the day. So it's like for that lunch period, I am just there by myself.
No, it's pretty scary being in tunnels in the dark with the no sound or just the little drips. Yeah. And it's just really, you turn your light off and it's just this weird air you feel that's surrounding you, and you feel so at risk. I don't know. Yeah. It's scary. It's easy to spook yourself.
Yeah.
I'm getting claustrophobic just listening to you guys.
Yeah.
You said it was like an hour and 20-minute hike to that. I was wondering about like lighting that. Did you have to carry like lights? And
we did, yeah. We had some lighting. It's a mixture of lighting and flashlights.
I will never be able to carry a backpack that heavy ever again. I am now past that. I will not be doing that again.
And also I couldn't have a tripod, so everything had to be handheld. So we had to carry the camera and then handheld all day, and then walk back.
The Steadicam went out to the desert, but there's no way the Steadicam was going to go there. It was like not going to happen.
I was in really good shape at the end of that shoot.
Yeah, it's a good workout.
Oh
I muscled up. I suddenly out of nowhere, I was all muscled up.
For anyone out there wants to get pumped up, just carry a bunch of lighting
plan right there.
Cameras down into the tunnel.
Or even like the batteries for the camera. I mean, they start getting heavy, and I need to make sure I have all of them.
Yeah, we had a lot of batteries. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. You have to, especially when you're far away. And I assume there's not outlets to go plug the battery.
Not in the cave,
no generator. So everything, we had to have the batteries. All the lights have to be batteries, and and everything's on battery. So it gets heavy, those batteries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I really dug it, and I love that. I don't necessarily love that you guys worked so hard to make it, but it makes me appreciate the movie more.
I mean, if we didn't love making movies, we would never have gone to those places.
That's true. The labor of love right there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not going to do that again, but we did it. We did it. We survived
You can
it.
say you did it.
You
Yeah.
know.
The problem is like with every movie, you're like, oh, I'll never do that again.
And then you find something new that's awful that you
Yeah,
I'll do
some other
something even
crazy
worse
thing
next
to
time.
do,
Right?
yeah.
Next time we're gonna make an underwater movie.
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
in
yeah,
a
that
dream.
sounds I
I
like it. I can scuba.
think I've heard enough horror stories about those.
Oh, I
Believe
can
me,
imagine.
I've written many scripts which have underwater.
I
They have
am-
not happened. They have not happened for very good
I am
reason.
scared of sharks though, so it'd be difficult.
No.
All right, so no underwater movie.
No,
Listen-
I've always wanted actually to do.
Well, it doesn't have to be in the ocean.
No, I wanted to. I really wanted to do an underwater cave movie for a long time, and then it was like at a certain point, it was just like, unless something happens and a massive amount of money comes my way, this is not going to happen.
Well, there's a cave that had a really nice body of water in it
Mhm.
that we were scoping. That's not in the state, I mean in California.
Right.
But yeah, they ended up closing the whole thing. Like you can't even get in. Like it's this giant entrance too. Like a quarry. It was a
It was
quarry.
a quarry, but it was a quarry that went into the mountains. So it's not like an open quarry pit. It was
Yeah.
actually like this giant rock tunnel. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And there were 5 of
So
them,
we can't do that one.
and they
because
intersected. But
They
they
blocked it.
yeah, they blocked it. So that one's gone forever. So.
All right. Well, this has been great to catch up with you guys. Love the
Yeah,
Protos
thank you so
Experiment, and
It
we'll
was
talk
great.
soon.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you
great.
so much
Thanks
for
for having
having
us.
us
Thanks for having a
and
Yeah,
story.
I'm glad this worked out. Yeah.
Bye.
All right.
All
We'll
right,
let you
see
go.
you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I cut him off mid thank you. But Annabelle always yells at me that I don't take people out, and then because I feel bad, I feel like I'm being rude. But
Hey, come out. Boom.
so I do. Before we go, Troy,
Yes, sir.
do want to let everyone know that this Sunday is Severed Limbs 18.
Yahoo.
It's our short horror movie film festival. There's 25 movies.
Wow.
So I'm not going to go over all of them at the moment, but join the Facebook group. They'll all be up there later tonight, and there'll be a trailer Friday or Saturday. And so we're doing a little different this time. So Sunday, it'll start at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. I believe that's 11 p.m. For the folks in England. And so we're going to have blocks of trailers, blocks of the short films like we always do. But we're also going to do live Q&As with some of the filmmakers. Or maybe the cast, however they want to work it out. So I got to get together with everybody and try to schedule that. So what we're going to do is there'll be a block of shorts. There'll be a live Q&A with some of the filmmakers from the shorts we just watched, and so on and so forth. So it'll be a good time, and that'll be on the Twitch channel because YouTube's like, I don't want to see nipples. I don't want to see anything too graphic here. So that'll be on Twitch.
Okay.
But I could go over them if you want me to real quick here.
Well, if you'll give me like 2 minutes, and then
or I can just put them up on the thing. It's fine either
way.
But you go do your thing here.
Okay.
I'm going to play a trailer here from our friends at Renegade Film Festival, and we'll be right back.
Brain death brings about an irreversible conclusion.
Are you sure you want to find out?
All right. Let me play another trailer while Troy is away. The trailers will play. And then we're going to go over the Severed Limbs official selections here on the show. All right. Actually, I'm going to play a little thing here. You'll find out momentarily while I pull it up.
I'm Tim Dry, and I'm coming to you from London in the United Kingdom. Just a little bit about myself, just enough to whet your appetite. I played 2 character roles in Return of the Jedi. One was Jay Quill, a bad boy. One was a Mon Calamari officer. Anyway, I also played the title role in Extra. The point of this little video is to say that A, I have known Neil, Annabelle and Troy for many years now, but I am enormously excited to be a tiny part of their upcoming debut feature, Arbor Day. And I will be providing
the voice of the demon tree. Do you think you're ready to handle this?
Anyway, stay tuned for more info. It's gonna be monstrous.
Ciao for now.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I play Percy. I'm the happy-go-lucky nerd, from what I understand.
So how did you get involved?
Well, the director came into the place I work, and he was like, hey, you want to be in a movie after coming in a couple of times? I was like, sure, I'd love to be in a movie, because...
That's not exactly what happened. Was I mentioned I was making a movie, and Andrew also mentioned about acting, and then I was actually thinking of wanting him to get involved, and then Andrew actually asked me.
Yeah, other people are here, by the way. Here is the other two. We're filming for behind the scenes, and yeah, that is what happened, but pretty much he was just like, you want to be in a movie? And I was like, yes, I want to be in a movie.
So I don't know if you know this, but your character wasn't even in the film at all, even when it was a short, and I wrote it specifically for you.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so honored. It's gonna be fun. I haven't been in a movie. I've done a couple acting. I was in 3 musicals. When I was little, I was a snow crab, and that was pretty fun. And then that's when I discovered I like acting. And then I was in another musical that was Emperor's New Clothes. Yes, Emperor's New Clothes. And that was a lot of fun. I was the bad guy, and that was good times. I like being the bad guy sometimes.
So when we filmed the trailer, what was that experience like?
That was fun. We basically just had a lot of fun with it. We walked wherever we wanted to go, and then we also recorded a few lines. We did a lot of fun things like pointing at stuff, being scared of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Right now we did some pictures for, I believe, marketing reasons. I don't know what to say.
This director seems to keep you in the dark a lot.
Yeah, I basically am by the seat of my pants. Like, we just scheduled this out yesterday, and no, I'm just kidding. No, he's pretty good. It's just, it takes a while to make a movie, and we're trying to put all we can into it, so
early on, when I first started talking to you, it was going to be a short film. Yes. But I think pretty early on when you were involved, it became a feature film.
Yeah, I was told it was a feature film from the very beginning.
Okay.
It was never a short film from my end. And that's why I was super excited, is because I heard, you're going to be a movie star. And I said, let's be a movie star.
Are you nervous at all?
Yeah, extremely nervous. That's why I talk a lot.
All right. Well, yeah, and you're aware that you're actually one of the featured performers in the film.
I am aware. I have been told very many times that I'm a special role, and I don't know how to feel about that, because I don't know. I don't feel special, but I'll take whatever I can get.
So what are you looking forward to, and what are you nervous about?
I'm looking forward to being in a movie, and I'm nervous about being in a movie. I want something that's good that my family enjoys watching.
So you want people to check this out?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Mr. Jones. Can I hear you? I think you're muted.
I believe you are right. Yes.
I mean, normally I'd be all about that. All right, so let's go through these. We're gonna go through all 25 selections for the shorts. The trailers, you'll have to go to the Facebook page. By the way, if you do have a trailer, you want it in the Severed Limbs this Sunday. If you send it to me tonight, or maybe tomorrow, possibly, I'll try to fit it in. So message me on Facebook or email withoutyourhead@gmail.com.
Don't wait around.
Exactly. So look at this one, Troy.
Mm.
No trespassing in Transylvania.
Okay. That's probably good advice.
A group of mummies stumble onto a vampire's property.
Whoa. I don't think I've ever seen like the mummy and vampire kind of crossover. Usually get the werewolf and vampire, but
yeah, werewolf and Frankenstein. Yeah. Final escape. 2 young women are trying to flee the woods after witnessing their friend get brutally murdered.
Oh.
Does not sound very uplifting.
Oh.
Jane and the Brain.
I just like the picture of the brain there. Just makes me happy.
Jane copes with the loss of her husband by keeping his brain with her at all times.
All right. I dig
Very
it.
romantic.
Yep.
Swamp Buck.
Whoa.
An innocent campfire, reluctant storyteller, and one hell of a first hunt for a young man in the Minnesota backcountry. Equal parts 1980s direct to VHS and timeless parable.
Nice. All right. I dig it.
Red Pond. In 1977, the communist regime ordered the evacuation of 1,000 people who were in the pond area to store the toxic waste from the mine.
Whoa.
A student obsessed with the case launched a journalistic investigation. The footage they left behind only raises new questions. Wow, that seems a lot heavier than some of these.
I know. Yeah, wasn't expecting that.
Decoration. Adriana finds a small Halloween-style carved pumpkin on her way home and decides to take it with her. Something mysterious seems to accompany the discovery.
All right. I'm digging it.
Yes. 0-0. A young woman enjoys her afternoon at a park when suddenly a thief takes her purse and runs away. Something inside the purse is deeply attached to her.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. I dig it.
Number 7. Number 8. This one's take up the whole screen. The Legend of Sayer Hicks. Excuse me. Some legends are simply stories made up to scare the kids around the campfire. They are passed down through the generations, but some are more than stories. Some legends are very, very real.
All right.
Number 9 is Monster. Trapped in the shadows of fear. But now the tables have turned. This time, it's her turn to make the rules.
Ooh.
That was number 9. I'm trying to find number 10. For some reason, these were out of order. Number 10, Der Metzgermeister. A dinner for 2 you'll never forget.
Oh.
The Veil. There is no description of the veil.
Oh, okay. Mysterious. I dig it.
Mysterious veil. Let's see. Next one is Apples Against Humanity.
Okay. All right.
The Drive. I like apples too. I'm not, and I'm anti-humanities.
Yeah.
No, not really. The Drive for
love the dead, hate the living, love the apples, hate the humanity.
The drive for the freshest apple leaves a dinner party in ruins.
Okay.
School's out. Ever. Alone. This is about Troy. Alone school custodian begins his task in a nightmarish maze of hallways and classrooms.
Oh, too cool. When I used to work the overnight shift, sometimes, like, I probably could have made a cool horror movie then.
As he sweeps, he witnesses unsettling supernatural phenomena. Eerie empty classrooms devoid of desks, flickering lights, and slamming lockers.
Okay, I dig it.
Forces intensify in this just over 3-minute solo shot on an iPhone 14 video.
Wow. All right, I like it. I could have made this.
Yeah. Departure. When going on a vacation retreat, Victoria is confronted by her past.
Ooh.
That was on 14. I'm trying to find the 15. Red tiles.
Tiles. Okay.
A girl's constant state of inertia is interrupted when her nose bleeds. Bonne Persone. I have no description for that one.
Oh.
Another mysterious, along with
I'm
Satan.
liking these mysterious. Oh.
Also no description for that one.
Oh. Don't need any description for Satan.
Exactly. Let's go, Satan. He is watching you. A mysterious theft location.
Whoa. Okay. I dig it.
I rule the dark.
Oh.
It's a horror short film that a picture came to reality and the demon releases. I'm not sure if that's. I think that's English. I think that's like a someone just put in some words into like
like a translator thing.
Yeah, and it didn't quite come out right.
Yep.
Enter the room. A young adult is visited by his brother, who needs a place to stay as he settles into his new city. The two polar opposite personalities begin to clash as Jeremy's presence poses a threat to Brian's way of life. Brian's uptight personality and unreasonable living standards rub off on Jeremy, creating an incredible amount of tension. Bad blood, stemming from a traumatic past event, reveals the shocking truth of the brothers' current situations, as Brian struggles to differentiate between reality and his worst nightmares.
That one sounds like it's got a lot going on.
Yeah, that's a very long description there. So that is number
Enter the room
20. All right. Eccentric.
Ooh.
I like that poster.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
A couple attends a rave where a new designer drug is distributed, causing them each to have different experiences.
Oh.
Interesting. Die Dame.
That's got a cool cover, too.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
a very nice poster. At the tail end of World War II, an American nurse, Betty, finds herself captured in an off-the-beaten-path Nazi experimentation lab with devastating results.
Wow.
The Six. A desperate father enters into a murderous game normalized by a society greedy for cheap thrills in order to save his terminally ill daughter. Win or lose, this is the last chance.
All right. I'm kind of intrigued by that one.
Billy Must Live.
Oh.
A group of mercenaries seek refuge during the zombie apocalypse and meet the handyman, their only hope, Billy. Their greatest asset is also their biggest liability. And number 25, the final entry, Krampus 5, the Snow Beast.
I'm digging the look of that.
A group of friends have their annual Christmas party, but it seems someone has been slaughtering their guests left and right.
Wow.
Krampus, the snow beast.
All right. I'm looking forward to these now.
So that'll be Sunday. It'll be a good time. Come and hang out with us. And you'll enjoy it.
Oh yeah, they're always so much fun. Like we always say with the shorts, like if it's something you don't dig, don't worry because it's not going to last too long. You'll be on to the next one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they always move by pretty quickly. Even though it's like quite a few of them, and then with all the trailers and all the good stuff mixed in, still moves by pretty quickly.
Exactly. All right. It was a good time, Troy.
It was indeed. Always good times. All the guests were much fun. Good to see everybody.
Yep. In 2 weeks, there's a I should write this. I should have got the name of it. But in 2 weeks, they're at the theater. There is a new Valentine's Day horror film coming out. Let me go grab the title real quick.
Okay.
Right now in theaters is a Companion, which I've heard people like. I've not seen it. And Presence, which is supposed to be really good. We were actually going to do interviews for it, but they never sent me the movie. Also, Wolfman is still playing. Nosferatu is still playing. But let's see, coming out here. And I think we mentioned before, The Substance up for Best Movie, Demi Moore up for Best Actress. It's pretty amazing for horror fans out there. And I assume you're a horror fan if you're watching this.
Yeah, it'd be kind of odd if you were.
Yeah, or you're just like, God damn, that guy's sexy.
Yeah, that could be it.
I mean, Troy. And so,
Heart.
What are you saying? That's what I thought.
Heart Eyes.
Heart Eyes. When the Heart Eyes killer strikes Seattle, a paid of coworkers pulling overtime on Valentine's Day are mistaken for a couple by the elusive couple hunting killer.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now they must spend the most romantic night of the year running for their lives. That is Heart Eyes. I'm going to go grab a picture of it. The killer's got he's got hard eyes. But they're like glowing hard eyes. It's kind of weird.
So are they like glasses or are they actually...
They look like that in this thing, honestly, but I'm not really positive what's going on here. Let's go grab Hard Eyes. Yeah, let me just share the screen here.
Yeah.
Because there's like multiple photos here.
I sent you the trailer for Sinners, which looks good, but I don't know when the hell it comes out.
So look, we got like, can you see this? Like, maybe I should blow it.
I can. There's a lot of hearts, and they are glowing.
Yeah, I don't know about it. Looks kind of dumb, to be honest. But yeah, but I'll go.
Like a styrofoam head with some glowing hard eyes.
Yeah. I mean, well, I go see basically all the horror movies, so I'll go see it.
Yep.
But I mean, I don't know about it.
It might be better than what that looks.
Yeah. Yeah, so look, he's got like almost looks like an old school leather football helmet with these big goofy hard eyes on it. They're like super glowing.
Yeah, they are glowing pretty good there. Maybe he's like Cyclops from the X-Men. Maybe he's got like things happening in the eyes.
Heart eyes. All right.
Hard eyes. Okay.
What do I know? Maybe it's awesome.
Yeah.
Might be fantastic. We'll find out. But
yeah, that horror movie with Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. I don't know when it comes out, but the trailer looks really good to me. He plays twins. I think it's like back in maybe the 30s or something.
Oh, really? No, did you sent this to me on email? I mean,
on your phone.
Yeah, I'll look it up quick because I can't like pop up.
Called
something.
Sinners.
Are you a sinner?
And he plays twins in it, which sometimes isn't great, but sometimes can be good.
Yeah.
But I'm usually a fan of Michael B. Jordan. Usually his stuff I dig.
All right, let's play it here. Hopefully they don't yell that. Well, they'll probably yell at us, but they probably won't like kick us off.
Okay. But you don't think they'll be happy to get a little more like?
You would think they would be, but I mean that's not how this stuff works. It, like they'll just straight up send me stuff sometimes, and then I'll put it up there and they're
like you bastard, take that down.
All right, here we go. So yeah, that looks cool, but yeah, I agree. It gave O2. We know they're vampires, which apparently you didn't even know from the first trailer.
No, the first trailer,
And,
it just kind of ends with those three at the, at the doorway, and they're like, "Hey, we just want to, come on in" or something, and like, you don't really know what's going on.
All right, let's grab the Hard Eyes trailer. I'm gonna grab the short trailer. There's a long and a short trailer.
God, did they even say when Sinners is coming out? Is it like a
April.
summer movie? Oh, April. Okay.
Yeah. Which will be here before you know it.
Yep, true.
All right, let's go with Heart Eyes.
Hard Eyes. They call me Hard Eyes.
Nope, I'm not even playing it, am I? I'm watching it on my screen.
With me, like.
No, I'm playing it over here, but all right. So let's restart this here.
All right.
I got to see the first half of it.
Okay.
Right.
Did it look good?
Here we go.
All right.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
That's kind of a neat twist.
Well, I'm gonna give it a shot. Yeah, I'm giving it a shot. I like it.
Although I gotta say, like, I think I'll be more impressed by movies that don't give me like the kind of slowed down version of some like song.
Of some famous song, yeah.
Yeah, like, how often do you really need that?
All the
I don't
time.
think every
Apparently.
movie needs that. I don't think it does.
Yeah. If you're watching this later and you don't see any trailer, it's probably because they were like, "Hey, buddy, don't play that," and I edited it out. Yeah. So, but if you watch it, that's why you got to come watch live. If you come watch live on Thursday night, then you could see all this stuff that I have to cut out later on. And you can interact with the fine folks here.
See the glowy Hard Eyes.
Exactly. On Twitch and Facebook, YouTube here. But it would be better if I'm glad you watch it anywhere and you chat anywhere. But come on over to the YouTube, and it's easier for me to pop up on the screen. A lot of people post on Facebook, but I really can't post it up on this, pop it up from there. All right, Troy. So what you got to do, though, hit the like button. Subscribe, and if you want to help support the show, become a member. It starts only $3 a month, and a new perk I just added: you get early access to up to recorded interviews. So if you became a member, you get an interview I posted yesterday, but it will be available to everybody for everyone Friday. But if you were a member, you got early access to it.
Early.
Yeah, like $3 for that. Bird. You could become a producer and get IMDb credit. That's fun. So, whatever works for you.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna get out of here, Troy.
Yes, sir.
Had a good time.
Good time. Thank you, sir.
Be back next week.
All again.
Who's on next week? Oh, Lisa Ovies will be on next week for the Puppet Killer.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
It is fun. It's about you want to watch a trailer for it?
Sure.
Puppet Killer.
I'm all trailered and
yeah, we're gonna grab Puppet Killer. Sunday is Sunday is
Severed Limb.
Limbs. Give me 1 second. I pull this up. Puppet Killer. All right, here
I
we
don't
go.
know
We're gonna
about a killer puppet or a person killing puppets.
killing puppets. You'll find out very soon.
I will.
Here we go. Puppet Killer. Oh, hold on. Do I have this muted?
Jamie.
No.
When was the last time you were up there?
About 10 years ago, when my stepmom disappeared.
Okay, what if something happens out here?
Like what, dude? Like we're all gonna die?
Do you know what's down there? A cellar. Do you know what happens in cellars?
I need to be really honest with you guys. My puppet killed my stepmom when I was 7, right in this cabin.
Oh.
How I did it. I think he has like supernatural powers or something.
Uh-oh, you're gonna die first.
Ah!
Yeah.
I kind of love the puppet.
I just had this bad feeling, but it's nothing.
You serious right now?
Puppet Killer. Boom.
All right, I'm digging it. I like it.
Next week, it's Lisa Ovi's Puppet Killer, and it'll be playing at Renegade Film Festival.
Too cool.
got a
There's
pretty
all
wild
kinds
lineup.
of good stuff happening there.
Exactly. So
When
Renegade
does the
Film
monkey
Festival.
come out?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure offhand. So if you're in Atlanta area, go to the Renegade Film Festival. If you're in the New England area, that same weekend, Dead of Winter
Oh,
Film Festival
where does that take place?
in Worcester.
Nice.
We had a great time at the last one. And this year it's the second annual, and it just says opening soon. February 21st. So that same weekend, everything's going on.
Oh, wow.
Monkey opens. So
All right, that's coolness then.
yeah. You could go to the film festival and go see Monkey.
Yep.
You do it all. Or go see Monkey the next week. It'll still be playing.
That's true. It'll probably have legs.
Yeah, so last year, Dead of Winter was a one-day film festival. This year, it's a two-day film festival, and also has the 40th anniversary reunion of Toxic Avenger. So Mark Torgel will be there and a bunch of cool people.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we'll have Mark Torgel on the show here soon to talk about it. So it'll be a good time.
I look forward to it.
All right. Burnt my hand, cut my finger.
You just you got to stop beating yourself up.
Bam! I'm just beating up everybody
Let me
else.
beat you up.
All right. Well,
Big elbow smash. Boom.
Sunday.
That was a quick one. You didn't see it coming, did you?
I didn't see it. So Sunday, Severed Lambs on Without Your Head on Twitch. Saturday, if you're a wrestling person on the In Your Head page, I'm going to do a live watch along. First time I've done this live video. I won't be showing the Rumble because that would be a definite no-no. But what you do is you go turn on the Rumble, you jump on with me on iWatch Wrestling, and you can watch Rumble along with me. It'll be a good time.
It'll be fun. Then you can even hit mute on the TV because I think all the commentators on the E kind of bite.
Yeah, just listen to me talk about it.
So, yeah, exactly. I just tune into you. Kind of like, they do that with the Mannings. You can, watch a Monday Night Football, but turn the sound off and listen to the Mannings do the...
I like it.
It works out pretty well.
All right. See you, folks. Sunday, Severed Limbs 18. Be there.
I'll see you Sunday there, Nasty Neil.
Until then, this is Nasty Neil.
That makes me Terrible Troy.
And this is Without
Your
Head.